should know by the way you parked your car sideways. I don't wouldn't last. See, you're the kind of person that believes in making out once, love them and leave them fast. I guess I must be dumb, 'cause you had a pocket full of horses, Trojan and some of them used. But it was Saturday night, I guess that makes it alright. You see, what have I got to lose? And honey, I say, leave a red carpet.
It is all Prince all the time here on the show today. Your All Request Friday theme is the artist formerly known as It's Prince. We celebrated this week the somber milestone of 10 years since the passing of Prince. And so we decided that the show today, your All Request show, would be Prince music, your favorite Prince songs throughout the show today. And Chris wanted to hear that one right there, A Little Red Corvette. I have to confess, and I mentioned this back on Wednesday when we marked the 10-year anniversary of Prince's passing in 2016, that I came to appreciate his musicianship over time. As a younger person, when Prince's music was at its height of popularity, I wasn't the biggest fan, to be honest with you. It's not, and it's still not really my cup of tea, but I can certainly appreciate the musicianship behind it. That said, having gone through the exercise these last many days, sorting through the requests that you came up with, I had no idea Prince's lyrics were so racy. So don't let the kids listen to the show today, okay? We've done the necessary editing, but my goodness gracious, Prince. Like, I thought back in the 80s we just sang about blue skies and birthday cake. Wow. Prince, let me tell you, I didn't know that. Well, now I know what was going on in your mind. I didn't know at the time. I was blissfully ignorant of the fact. Good Friday morning. It is the 24th of April. It is game day, baby. Playoff game day. And it feels like a month. I cannot wait. To get back to the hockey arena tonight. The one and only Grand Old Dame on East Avenue, the cathedral of junior hockey in this Ontario Hockey League, the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. I think it's because I'm so excited for the series that it has felt so long since the last time we played. I've been devouring every interview, every story published just to get ready for tonight. Cannot wait. And I hope to see you at the rink. You and me and about 7,500 of our closest friends. Rangers, Spitfires. Game one, baby. It's a game day. Andre is on the phone with us. You know that we start the show every day. Open the phone lines at 519-570-2545, star 570, and 1-800-570-5715. And Andre is taking advantage first thing. Good morning, Andre.
Well, because you let me do that.
I do let you do that. Listen, it's your show, pal, not mine. Who cares what I have to say?
Oh, that's not true. But, hey, Mike, I just want to say absolutely game day. I'm very excited. I got my case of wine ready for it. I can't wait for the 4-round panel to see who you got on about the 89% increase. Have a good one, Mike, and I can't wait to hear from you tonight.
Thanks, Andre. Appreciate it. Did you hear what I heard? Andre has his case of wine ready to go. Not a bottle. Not a, what do you call a little bottle? There's like the baby bottles of wine. Are those Mickey's too? Anyway, Andre has his case of wine at the ready. Joining us on our Friday 4 roundtable today between 11 and noon, we will have Linda Ockwell-Jenner with us, the president of motivationalsteps.com. David Kuhn, who works in the post-secondary sector and is a former chair of KW Accessibility. And my buddy Steve Bentley, I always just call him Bentley. Good guy right there, managing principal, Northern River Financial. They will join us between 11 and noon. And among other things, we will talk about that 89% bump for the people who chair the 3 standing committees of regional council. I have more to say about that in just a moment. But Jason is also on the phone with us early this Friday morning. Jason, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How you doing on a Friday?
I am so good, buddy. I am so good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I am great. I'm ready for a hockey game tonight. Speak of hockey, I was watching that Barrie Colts and Brantford game the other night. Oh, man, the product on ice is just phenomenal. The OHL is definitely, we are definitely spoiled in this province. But one thing I did want to point out, they had two great officials. They had Jason Weiss and Sean Reed that ran that game, and they ran that game as smooth as could be. It was a great hockey game to watch. I'm just curious what kind of circus we're going to end up with here in town tonight.
Well, maybe Feisty and Reeder will be over here for this game tonight. You don't know.
Well, we're hopeful, right? We're hopeful.
Jason, I appreciate the call. Listen, we're down to the final four teams, which means we're down to the final two series, which means the OHL has its pick of its very best officials. And I agree with what Jason said, by the way. I followed that game on Wednesday night as well. Game one between Brantford and Barrie. Brantford won the game. But Jason Feist, I loved the... Wait a minute. That was just a Jason on the phone. Was Feisty... Did the referee just call the show and pump his own tires? Did I just get fooled here? I don't think so. That didn't sound like Jason Feist. But I thought he made a really brave but right call early third period, right off the opening faceoff. And he called one of the Barrie players for being a little too aggressive. After the faceoff, he cross-checked his opponent. This is a tie game of an Eastern Conference championship. The game was 3-3 at the time. And he awarded a power play to the Bulldogs literally seconds into the third period, but absolutely the right call. You can play the game on the edge. You can play the game aggressively, but Feist is like, you can't do that. Chucked him into the box where he belonged. So good point by you, Jason. I thought the officials did a very good job on Wednesday night, and I have little doubt that they'll do a very good job here again tonight. Okay, just before we get to our Farwell Show 5, and of course, our not $1 million question, just a little fun that we have every Friday here on the show. I'll ask you a question, and if you can come up with the answer to it, we're just going to be super impressed with you. Kind of like we're impressed by Jamie Ding on Jeopardy right now, right? Have you been following this guy? 30 wins now. More than $800,000 in prize earnings. The crazy thing is, Jamie Ding's 30 wins are not yet even half of the number of consecutive games won by now host Ken Jennings when he was a contestant on Jeopardy. But I've really been enjoying Jamie Ding's run. Most of the time, the games aren't even close. And last night, it got real close. But I didn't really like the guy that was giving him competition. He seemed a little cocky for my liking. So go, Jamie Ding, go. Anyway, you will be the Jamie Ding, the 30-game winning Jeopardy champion right now. Of our show, if you can come up with the answer to our not $1 million question, which I will ask you around 9:15, just before 9:15 this morning. I've been giving a lot more thought to this whole idea of an 89% increase for the regional councillors who chair the three standing committees. We've got a health committee, like a public health committee. We've got a transportation committee. We've got a sustainability infrastructure committee. And these additional duties, other duties as assigned, have historically come with a $7,000 plus honorarium. And after a vote at council this week, it will now be a $13,000 honorarium, an increase of $5,500 or 89%. And the councillor who brought forward the motion, Councillor Colleen James, called into the show yesterday when I was pretty fired up about it. And I don't think I'm any less fired up today. I mean, I get it that it's quote unquote only $5,500 in the grand scheme of the massive regional budget. But I would submit to you that if it's only $5,500, then you can live without only $5,500, right? And then there was the point that, listen, counselors work hard for this. They're dealing with really big, important issues. There's more work than ever before. I get it. But the $7,400 that counselors are currently getting on top of their regular salary, they still get that regular salary as well. This is the honorarium that is added if you are chairing a committee. And I'm going to be really honest with you here. I'm just going to tell it to you like it is, okay? Yes, chairing a committee or any meeting, quite frankly, comes with a degree of responsibility. But staff does the heavy lifting here. Staff prepares all the reports. You have to review the materials, and you have to make sure that the meeting follows Robert's rules. But other than that, I mean, you're making sure the meeting goes off or goes as planned. Other than that, like, the staff does the real heavy lifting here. So sure, some additional responsibility, but the staff in the background are doing all the heavy lifting on this stuff. And yep, you start sometimes at 7:30 in the morning, Councillor James told us yesterday, and you work really hard for that money. It's not, I don't usually do this because I come from a generation where you didn't talk much about money, and I feel badly for elected officials when their salaries and increases become part of the public discourse. But I'm going to give you an apples to apples comparison here, because it's a $13,000 now addition to your salary if you're the chair of a committee, which you work hard for. You sometimes start meetings at 7:30 in the morning. There's a great deal of work to be done. I get paid extra money for broadcasting Kitchener Rangers games. It's in addition to, I have a salary, and then I get paid a game rate for Kitchener Rangers hockey. And I hope I don't get in trouble for anyway, whatever. It is what it is. I'm telling you the truth here. And over the course of a season, that amounts to about $13,000 additional dollars. In order to earn that $13,000 additional dollars, I broadcast 68 games and 34 post-game shows. So a total of, what are we at here? 102 different events for the radio station to earn it. And if you want to break it down by hours, I'm being as conservative as I can. A home game, I'm there for about 7 hours. A road game, I'm there for about 6 hours. I'm not counting any travel time in here. I'm not counting in or including the fact that these games happen on weekends mostly, or I sometimes travel for days and I'm away. It's just strictly the hours invested on home games when there's an additional hour for the post-game show, and on road games when there's no post-game. And those are very conservative. 7 hours per home game, 6 hours per road game, for a total of 442 hours over the course of a hockey season that it takes me to earn that additional money. I would like to know then. I mean, I understand the councillors work hard. And some people are regional councillors and some people are hockey broadcasters. You tell me, are we working equally hard? And how do I get an 89% increase? How do we balance those two things? Joe Q Public and Regional Q Councillor. There's an opportunity here, and we talked about this on the show yesterday. And I will share with you the names of the councillors who voted in favor of this increase. Okay? So I'm calling directly to you, Regional Chair Karen Redmond, Councillor Colleen James, Councillor Matt Rodriguez, Councillor Doug Craig, Councillor Jan Liggett, Councillor Sandy Shantz, Councillor Joe Gowing, Councillor Dorothy McCabe, Councillor Pam Wolf, Councillor Chantel Hewenink, and Councillor Joe Nowak. You have the opportunity here to overturn the decision. One of you can bring back a motion that changes this back to the way that it was. You can do that. It's never too late to change your mind. Councillors Redmond, James, Rodriguez, Craig, Liggett, Shantz, Gowing, McCabe, Wolf, Hewenink, and Nowak. You voted in favor of this. You can change your mind. Bring forward a motion next week and say, you know what? 89% is a little bit on the excessive side by way of increase. And maybe, just maybe, we should go back to the drawing board on this one and take the 3% as recommended by the outside consultant. Rory is with us on the phone this morning. Rory, I got to go quick because I got to get to the not $1 million question.
Well, game day, baby.
Game day.
Rangers go. But I think maybe an easy solution, Mike, moving forward, let's just tie public sector wages to the rate of inflation, and that way we don't have to worry about paying consultants. And that way we don't have to worry about all of this, discussion around 5, 10, 15, 20, 80%. Thanks, Mike. Have a great day. and have a great game.
Thanks, Rory. It seems so simple that way, doesn't it? We'll just tie it to inflation. I mean, not everybody in the private sector is getting increases tied to inflation. So that seems reasonable to me. 3% as opposed to 89.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9.
All right, let's get to your Farwell Show 5, just ahead of your not $1 million question on this Friday morning. Number 1, starting Monday, commuters taking the GO train into Toronto will have a few more options. GO Transit adding 2 additional express trains on the Kitchener line to Union. It includes another morning train leaving Union just before 9 and an afternoon train leaving Kitchener about 3:45. Full changes are posted to our website, kitchener.citynews.ca. The added trips come as Metrolinx has also announced the expansion of GO service west of the region to Stratford. Those trips start July the 6th. Number 2, Prime Minister Mark Carney dismissed reports that the U.S. is demanding concessions before talks on CUSMA can begin, saying he's heard nothing about a, quote, entry fee. The PM insisted that Canada is not taking direction from Washington as tensions rise over trade. U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer has warned of possible enforcement action if American alcohol does not return to liquor store shelves here. Number 3, on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, Ontario's opposition parties are calling on Premier Doug Ford to apologize for insulting a Liberal member of provincial parliament. This after an exchange during question period between Ford and Liberal critic Stephanie Smythe.
Speaker, with a government that has a new scandal every week, Ontarians don't need a new number. They need transparency. So, Speaker, to the Premier, why does this Premier, who claims to be accountable, make it so very hard to hold himself?
Premier of Ontario.
You know something, Madam Speaker? Do you know why the member's down here? Because CP24 didn't want her anymore. Bottom line. Simple. That's why she's down here. And she was just a promoter for Liberal agenda, NDP agenda, when she was doing interviews. You think there could be anything else? That is the facts. That is the truth. Yeah, it hurts, doesn't it? It hurts when you aren't wanted. There's a reason why you're here.
There's a reason why you're here, as Premier Ford's microphone got cut off. For what it's worth, Stephanie Smythe used to work with our group of radio stations. Who whizzed in the Premier's Cheerios? Interim Liberal leader John Fraser and Green Party leader Mike Schreiner say Ford needs to say he's sorry. Number 4 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, another playoff game day has finally arrived. The Kitchener Rangers open the Western Conference Final tonight at the Memorial Auditorium, hosting the Windsor Spitfires. This is the 4th time in 5 years the teams have met in the playoffs, with the Rangers winning the past 2 meetings. The Harris Law pregame show starts tonight at 6:30. Josh Piercy and I will be with you from there right through Rangers Talk, where we take your calls after the game. And number 5 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, a tough loss for our U18 AAA Waterloo Wolves yesterday at the TELUS Cup. The Wolves fought from behind, scored twice in the third period, but fell 4-3 to Okanagan. The Wolves are now 1-3 at the national championship, and they will take on the host team from Peterborough today.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good,
It
though.
could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!
Wait. Were those guys in the gallery for the regional council meeting this week where they voted an 89% raise for chairs of committees? Is that... Boo! Not too late. Not too late to change your mind. It's never too late to change your mind. Only councillors Erb, Foxton, Harris, and Verbanovic voted against that increase for committee chairs. I got into that a little bit more this morning because I just wanted to remind councillors it's not too late to change their mind. So I'm a little late getting to your not $1 million question. Sorry about that. Here it is. And please do play along because you can be the Jamie Ding of our show. That's how impressed we will be with your intelligence if you can answer this. It takes the average person 6 tries to successfully do this. Bonus points if you say vote yourself an 89% raise. Oh, no, that didn't take 6 tries. It just took 1. Just like that. It's done. 89%. It takes the average person 6 tries to successfully do this. What is it? We're average, you and me, right? So what is it that we take 6 tries to successfully do? You think you know the answer? Give me a call and let's find out. Play the not $1 million question with us on the Mike Farwell Show this morning on 570 News Radio. It is 1999 by Prince on this All Request Friday, all Prince music. My buddy Paulie and my other buddy Mike wanted to hear that one on this All Request Friday. You make the request, we play it as long as it's Prince as we celebrate his music today. Something else we do on Fridays is what we call the not $1 million question. It takes the average person 6 tries to successfully do this. What is this? Phone lines open at 519-570-2545, star 570, and 1-800-570-5715. Dan, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you today?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Good. Happy Friday.
You too, brother.
I wasn't going to call in today because I feel like I've been hounding you the last couple of days. But anyway, I think I have the answer.
Okay, takes the average person 6 tries to successfully do what?
Is it button the button on the cuff of your shirt?
It took me 2 tries this morning. I blame the early morning, Dan, but not the answer we're looking for. Great guess, though.
Mike, can I also ask you one other thing?
Yes, you can.
I tried to get tickets for the Kitchener Rangers this morning. I went online. Anyway, I got bumped. Can I go down to the box office and buy those for tonight?
Hell yeah.
And do I have any luck of getting any? Or
I haven't heard that they're sold out. I think they always find room for you, buddy.
Okay, I'm heading down there.
All right, go get them. Go to the odd box office, opens at 10. Get those tickets for tonight. Deb is with us playing the not $1 million question, too. Good morning, Deb.
Good morning, Mike.
What do you think the answer is? The average person takes 6 tries to successfully do this. It's not button the button on the cuff of your shirt.
First thing that jumped into my head, and for me it would be more like 20 tries, is thread a needle.
Thread a needle. That's an wow. I never even considered that. Great guess, but not the answer we're looking for.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Deb. Great to hear from you today. It's not thread a needle. It's not button that nuisance button. Clinton, what do you say? Farwell's Force member number 35.
6 tries to take a selfie that you were happy with.
Oh, my gosh. Only 6?
Only 6.
How many? Yeah, you take the first selfie. You look so good. You're always like, that's perfect.
No, I don't.
Good guess, but not the answer.
Really?
Not the one. Okay. Thanks, Clinton. Good to hear from you. I think, well, let's go to Francis, hear what Francis's guess is. Francis, good morning.
Good morning. I was hoping to maybe learn how to drive a 2-wheel bike.
Oh, 6 tries. So you fall down and skin your knees 6 times before you get up on 2 wheels, eh?
Confident.
Francis, good guess, not the answer we're looking for. I love the guess from James and Ken via email. James says, quit smoking. Ken says, remember an old password. Not the answers that we're looking for. I will say this. I think that Dan and Deb are both, let's say, in the ballpark. We'll take more guesses around 9:45 this morning, okay? It takes the average person 6 tries to successfully do this. More guesses at 9:45. Right now to the 570 News Center for an update. And then the daffodil smile is back. The origin story is coming up on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio.
Can you picture this? Dream if you can, courtyard, an ocean of violets in bloom. Animals strike curious poses. They feel the heat between me and you. Just leave me standing, alone in a world that's so cold. Maybe I'm just too
We celebrate the music of Prince on this All Request Friday, Prince edition. 10 years ago this week that we lost one of the most talented musicians of a generation. That, of course, is When Doves Cry by request for Debbie, Farwell's Force member number 336. Oh, we're getting up there. Number 336. Also, Sahar and my buddy Max wanted to hear When Doves Cry on the show this morning. You know, not everything on the internet is a rant. Not everything on the internet is a fight with somebody else, you know, arguing back and forth and whatnot. Sometimes you find really nice things on the internet, like a picture of that thing that likely makes us smile every day when we drive past. And it is that time of year when things are coming back into bloom, and you have no doubt driven past this on Highway 85 North on your way towards Waterloo. Right around the University Avenue East exit, you see the big happy face planted into the embankment from University Ave above. It is the daffodil smile, the daffodil happy face, and it's back and blooming for another year. But there's more behind this story, thanks to the Facebook post that reminded us of it. And the author of that post, Jocelyn Schaefer, joins our show this morning to share the story. Good morning, Jocelyn.
Morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good. Glad to hear it. This daffodil happy face, this daffodil smile, holds an even more special meaning to you. I know most of us just love seeing it. It's a great sign of spring while we're stuck in traffic or just driving on the highway. It's just something nice to see outside the window. But why does it mean so much more to you, Jocelyn Schaefer?
It means the world to me because it was my dad's creation along with one of his English classes from Blueville Collegiate right here in Waterloo many years ago. He was instrumental, along with his one class, of putting that daffodil smile there in memory of a student who unfortunately took their own life.
So this was a tribute to that student. What was the motivation for your father and the tribute aside, like why this? Was there any sort of affinity to daffodils, happy faces? Like what was behind that?
I don't know. My dad and I were just driving on the expressway one day, and I happened to, off the cuff, just say, wow, look at that daffodil smile. And his face lit up, and so all of a sudden he told me that he had put it there with his class. And from then on, it's meant a lot to me. And even when it's not blooming, I know that it's there. And it's just a reminder. It's a reminder of him and something that he did for everybody to enjoy.
Were you able to learn from your dad how he got this done in the first place? Because it's not the easiest thing to plant.
No, it's not in the easiest spot. I've actually wanted to stop myself and try to get closer to it to have my picture taken. But as you've alluded to, the location isn't the safest spot to do that. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's because it's close to Blueville. It's like a central area for people. I really don't know. And it wasn't until shortly before he suddenly passed away that I actually learned that it was him that was instrumental in this. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of history that I can share with you about it. I just know that he and a class did it in memory of a student who took their own life.
And it still continues to bloom and blossom to this day. I mean, somebody has to be keeping this up, don't they, Jocelyn?
I don't know. I don't see many people attending to it. I personally would like to do that myself, but it's a safety concern for me. And I would think I would have to probably talk to somebody with the city of Waterloo just to see, that I'm not making or breaking any bylaws or anything, because it's quite shocking that it's there. I mean, it's beautiful, it's vibrant, it's very well seen. But I don't want to break any bylaws, but I would certainly like to get in touch with somebody to see if I can plant some more seeds or if I can, weed, just keep it looking vibrant and healthy, because I want it to be enjoyed by many people for many more years to come.
I would have to think that the provincial government would somehow have to be involved too, because we're talking about an embankment on the side of an expressway. I don't know, but there might be a few hurdles to cross. Do you have any idea, Jocelyn, how many years back we're going with this thing? Because it's been there for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I have no idea. I know my dad retired in 2004. So I really have no idea. If there's a student that's listening or a teacher that's listening that has more information than I'm able to provide, I would be more than happy to talk to them and to learn more about it, because, again, I don't have that much to go on. And with my dad not living anymore, I can't really ask him for more information. So I'm open to hearing more about it, because I would like to continue. I'm very limited to the information that I have.
What goes through your mind when you pass by it on the expressway? It
reminds me of my dad. He was a wonderful man. He had many talents, but above all, he was the best father to my sister and I. He was a teacher for many years. He was an avid gardener, which speaks volumes about that. It brings back so many memories of my dad just being a wonderful person, and how much I miss him. And if I'm having a bad day, I will for sure go for a drive and sit on the side of the expressway, and I will look at that smile. And if I'm not able to pull over, I still look at that smile, and I know that he's with me regardless. And of course, I have to crank AC/DC Thunderstruck, because that was our favorite song, but it has brought me a lot of comfort.
I mentioned at the outset that, not everything on the internet is a bad thing by any stretch. And you posted this on a public page on Facebook, and the response, I went through I couldn't possibly have gone through all of the comments, Jocelyn, but what do you make of the response to your post on Facebook?
Well, as you said, there's far too much negativity, whether it's on social media or person to person. So I always try to look at things with the glass half full, not half empty. So the fact that people are enjoying it, and a lot of people didn't know the story behind it. So the fact that I was able to educate them in a way and tell them about how it came to be, and just so many other people are enjoying it. It brings a smile to my face, and it warms my heart. My dad was a wonderful man, and I lost him very suddenly 4 years ago. So it helps me on the good days, and it helps me especially on the bad days.
And I think it goes to show when you go through have you gone through the comments? I mean, do you keep up with it? I don't know how you could with that many. It's hundreds now, but...
Well, to be honest, every evening before I go to bed, I go through them and I put a little heart emoji on every comment. So I've made it a personal mission to acknowledge each comment that there is. I don't know how many there are, but I have acknowledged each and every one of them. It
goes to show the impact that this daffodil happy face, this daffodil smiley face has on so many people in this community.
Yep, and it's a wonderful tribute that my dad did, and I'm glad that everybody's enjoying it. And again, I want it to last for many, many years to come.
Jocelyn, it's a great story. I appreciate you sharing it with us this morning. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for your time, Mike. Stay well, and I would be remiss if I didn't say for tonight, go Rangers, go.
Atta girl, I love to hear that. We'll get those comments all day, I hope. Thanks, Jocelyn.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye now.
Bye.
Jocelyn Schaefer, who is reminded of her father, who passed suddenly 4 years ago. Every time she drives along Highway 85 North, as you're passing the University Avenue exits, we see it all the time. It's the smiley face, the daffodil happy face planted into the side of an embankment on the side of our expressway. You see it when you're headed north. And it was Jocelyn's dad, along with some students of his at Blue Vale Collegiate many years ago, that planted it initially in memory of a student who tragically took their own life. It's a nice reminder of how easy it is to spread some kindness. Heck, I should have made that my Not Everyone is a Jackwagon story for today, shouldn't I have? We'll get you another one of those, though, coming up a little over 30 minutes from now, around 10:20, as we do every day on the show. The reminder that not everyone is a jackwagon. I've got to think, though, that this this happy face has got to have had some sort of rejuvenation over the years. I mean, I am no green thumb. I will grant you that. But do they just come up year after year after year without being tended to? That can't be the easiest area for something to grow. Nonetheless, and I've heard many a tale in this town over the years about, guerrilla gardeners sneaking out under cover of darkness, putting their own safety at risk, climbing fences and whatnot to get to the embankment to plant the flowers that ultimately bloom into that happy face each and every spring. Jocelyn Schaefer's father was behind it initially, and she shares the story with us on the Mike Farwell Show this morning. All right, it's a Friday. That means a couple of things. I mean, it means a lot of things, actually. It's a game day. Coach's show comes up at 10:30 this morning. The Friday 4 roundtable from 11 until noon. Free phones Friday, noon until 1. Open lines to hear from you as we close out our time together for another week. And our not $1 million question, something we do just for fun here on the show. And today's question: it takes the average person 6 tries to successfully do this. What is this? It takes the average person 6 tries to successfully do. Chris, along with his children, Lincoln and Dominic, think that it's 6 tries to tie a tie at the right length with the knot you like. I love the guess, Chris. Frank guessed the same thing, but it's not the answer we're looking for. Jocelyn says, hit the snooze button. Nope. I mean, listen, I successfully hit it. I don't hit it 6 times. I successfully hit the snooze button on the first try, but that's not the answer we're looking for either. M in Guelph, Farwell's Force, member number 73, 6 tries to successfully parallel park. Those are all emailed guesses to Mike at 570news.com. Not the answer we're looking for. We had a couple of guesses earlier on the phone from Dan and from Deb. Dan's guess was to button that button on the cuff of your shirt. And Deb was guessing 6 tries to successfully thread a needle. I said those were in the ballpark. Maybe that helps you a little bit. We shall see. It takes the average person 6 tries to successfully do this. You want to take your guess at our not $1 million question? Phone lines are open at 519-570-2545, star 570, and 1-800-570-5715. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio.
She took me to her castle and I just couldn't believe my eyes. She had so many devices, everything that money could buy. She said, sign your name on a dotted line. The lights went out and Nikki started to grind. I can't tell you what you did to me, but my body will never be the same. Will you kick your behind? Oh, just show you no mercy, but just shout enough, show you how to fight.
I told you to hide the children, or at least cover their ears for this All Request Friday as we celebrate the songs of Prince. Deb the Blue Noser wanted to hear some Darling Nikki on the show this morning. Your request, you Blue Noser, you, is our command. Deb is Farwell's Force member number 290, by the way. On Fridays, we also play a little game called the Not $1 Million Question. I ask the question. It's not worth $1 million, but we will think that you are as smart as Jamie Ding, the 30-game winner, Jeopardy champion right now on a great run. Lots of fun to watch. I love Alan's guess via email to Mike at 570news.com. Takes the average person 6 tries to successfully get the answer to this question. Well done by you, Alan. Not the answer we're looking for, but we're going to go back to the phones. And Doug is with us. Good morning, Doug.
Morning, Mike.
What do you think it is?
How about trying to start a coat zipper?
A who what now?
A coat zipper?
A coat zipper. Oh, my gosh, Doug, I'm so sorry. That's on me and my ears. I thought you said a coat dipper. I'm like, what is a dipper? Doug, that's a very good answer, but not the answer we're looking for.
Okay, go Rangers.
Go Rangers. I love it. Keep those positive vibes coming. I wear glasses, and I don't put them on first thing in the morning, and sometimes I struggle with my coat zipper, too, because it's dark, and I'm not paying much attention, and I can't see anyway without those glasses on. But that's not the answer we're looking for. Sarah is with us, Farwell's Force, member number 193. Good morning, Sarah. Oh.
Actually, it's Carol. Good morning, Mike. I've got the answer.
Wait a minute. Your name is Carol, and we have Sarah written down?
Yes.
Carol, that's as bad as me hearing coat dipper. I don't know what Dev, take some wax out. Dev and I are going for an earwax removal later today. Sorry, Carol. Good morning.
Good morning. Doing up a zipper, or no, not a zipper. Doing up a necklace.
Oh, doing up a. Do you do that yourself? Are you like that skilled, or do you have to get somebody else to do it up for you?
Well, I used to have someone to do it, but I'm on my own now, and it takes longer.
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. Not the answer we're looking for, but a very good guess, Carol. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. You have a great day.
Thanks, Mike. You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Farwell's Force, member number 193. Wendy sent me an email earlier this week, and she has made an electronic version, a spreadsheet version she's created the spreadsheet template, and she even offered to do the data entry for me. So Farwell's Force would be at my fingertips electronically. And then I just could have looked up Force member number 193 and known it was Carol instead of Sarah. I wonder if I should take Wendy up on that offer. A spreadsheet? Me? I got pen and paper. Anyway, it's not doing up a necklace. The average person takes 6 tries to successfully do this. Dan, good morning.
Morning, Mike. I might be late to the party, but maybe this has been guessed. I'm thinking maybe do up a necktie.
A necktie was guessed, and that's a great guess, but not the answer we're looking for.
Very good.
All right,
Good
Dan.
luck.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for playing along. I put on a necktie for every single Kitchener Rangers game, 68 times a year, just for hockey games, not to mention the other times I put on a tie. And sometimes, I do it so often, and still, the length ain't right. Got to fix it, but not the answer we're looking for. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good, thank you. What do you think it is? The average person takes 6 tries to successfully do this.
So I'm thinking I would take more tries, but I heard a story about cornhole the other day, and I'm wondering if it takes 6 tries to get the beanbag in the cornhole.
To get a cornhole?
Yeah.
Yeah, a good guess, Lisa, but not the answer.
Okay. Have a good day. Go Rangers, go.
Thanks, Lisa. Go Rangers, go. We'll get to the answer. I gotta give it out in the next 60 seconds or so. Let's see if Mark knows the answer. Morning, Mark.
Good morning, Mike. I believe it may be starting the lawnmower.
Listen, I got a new lawnmower last summer, Mark, and it promised it would start on the first pull every time.
Okay.
So far, so good, but I know what you mean. Sometimes they can be stubborn. Not the answer we're looking for, though.
Okay, I was thinking an old lawnmower.
Yeah, I get it. Mine won't start on the first pull forever. I know. Thanks for playing, Mark.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Good to hear from you today. Let's squeeze in one more. Chris, you get the last guess. Can you get the answer to our not $1 million question?
Is it create a new habit?
Create a new habit. Another very good guess. Kind of ties into quitting smoking. But no, I tried to help you along the best I could. When Dan guessed button that button on the cuff of your shirt, and Deb guessed thread a needle, because those are kind of household things, right? It takes the average person 6 tries to successfully fold a fitted sheet. You know how you fold a fitted sheet? You try, it looks like hell, and you put it away anyway, in my opinion. But the answer to our not $1 million question today, fold a fitted sheet. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio.
This will be the day that you will hear me say that I will never run away. I am here for you. Love is meant for two. Now tell me what you're gonna do. If I gave you diamonds and pearls, would you be a happy boy or a girl? If I could, I would give you the world. All I can do is just offer you my love.
Our good buddy Gary in Guelph, Farwell's Force member number 41, asked to hear some Diamonds and Pearls on this All Request Friday. All Prince, all the time. It was 10 years ago this week that we lost Prince, so we celebrate him and his music on the show today. Diamonds and Pearls, our latest request on this All Request Friday. Did you know that this past weekend, I know I'm going back in time a little bit here, but it's worth going back in time to last Saturday, just in case it slipped your attention. The Waterloo Public Library celebrated its 150th year of service to our community. The library is almost as old as the country. For crying out loud, the library has been around almost as long as it's been since the Leafs last won the Stanley Cup, but don't get me started with that. 150 years in the books at the Waterloo Public Library, pun intended on that one, and looking ahead to the future of this integral part of our community. And Jana Kipfer is the manager of marketing and communications with the Waterloo Public Library and joins us to talk a little more about it. And Jana, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
150 years of WPL. How does that land with you and the rest of the folks at the library?
It is really quite incredible, right? I mean, of course, to us, the 90s only seems like it was 10 years ago.
Exactly. Thank you. I'm not the only one.
It's hard to believe, we're here now at 150 years old.
How did you mark the milestone?
So we kicked off, our actual, what I'm calling our birthday was February 18th, 1876. And so we kicked off some celebrations this year, invited families to come in and make birthday cards. And then we had a birthday party, a very traditional big birthday bash this past Saturday. We had face painters, we had, a magician, lots of families coming through with birthday cake and giveaways and prizes. And so it's been great. And of course, for the rest of the year, we have lots more initiatives and activities and giveaways planned too.
I have it on good authority that the celebration this past weekend, Anjana, was very well attended. And, of course, it brought a lot of energy and even noise into a library, which, when I was a kid, there was no such thing as noise in a library. But I think this just speaks to the kinds of places that libraries are, what they represent in our community today.
Absolutely. They've certainly evolved. And, this past weekend, we probably had, I think, about 700 people who came to the birthday bash ready for a good time. And, the days of the library being a place of absolute quiet, have certainly changed because there's so much, there's so many activities and so many more things to do at the library now. And so we're really grateful, that, to have that kind of energy in the library where people are sharing the space and, having these opportunities to connect with each other in the community.
Can you share a little bit more with us about that very thing, the different things that one does at a library today and how the WPL sort of fits into the fabric of the community here in 2026?
Yeah, sure. I mean, of course, we have, the library has changed and evolved over the years. Some of the things that have become really popular over the last several years is, expanding our collections of what people borrow. In the past, typically people would think of the library and think, I'm going there to get books. But now it's so much more than that. We have cool things to borrow, like LED projectors, telescopes, ice skates. When did you think you might be able to borrow ice skates at the library? Photography equipment, vinyl records are making a comeback, pickleball equipment, so much more. And then, of course, there's all the services we provide here, too. We have a service called Tech Connect, where people can come in and, get one-on-one individual tech help. We have a visiting library service where we, go and offer to bring library items to people's, out to people who can't make it here. And so, we have programs and events for people of all ages and ways for folks to connect, intergenerationally. Obviously, things are evolving in terms of the information era, right? As AI is upon us, and we're trying to make sure that we understand and recognize our role in terms of making sure the community is educated about things like AI and mis and disinformation. So as the world changes, the library is evolving too, and trying to make sure that we provide the community with equal footing, right? And an opportunity to learn in a space where they feel like they belong.
A 150th anniversary is certainly worth celebrating right through the entire year. What other things can we expect in the months ahead as you continue to mark this milestone, Anjana?
We'll have lots of activities and initiatives. So I always, recommend, keeping an eye on our website, signing up for our emails. We just launched our Seed Library, which is an exciting initiative that began a couple of years ago. And that's been, extremely popular. In terms of 150, though, we'll have other programs and events coming up too. Some little surprises and things like that, people will learn about in the next little while. So certainly keep an eye on what's happening at WPL. That
website is wpl.ca, the 150th. And I know, like when we're marking a milestone like this, and it's so significant, going back to 1876, as you mentioned, and I mean, who could possibly project the next 150? But I'm just trying to think of, that library, the WPL in 1876 compared to the WPL in 2026. I mean, the transformation that has happened, the evolution over all of that time is remarkable, to say the very least. How do you plan ahead 5, even 10 years from now for the library's role in our community?
Right. I know it is tricky. And, thinking back to 1876, there were no kids allowed. So,
really?
Thankfully that changed in the years after. But yes, lots of big changes over the course of 150 years. And especially, as I mentioned the 90s, I'm a 90s kid. But when the 90s came along, it brought lots of technological changes, right? Barcode systems for books and arrival of free public internet and computer usage and our very first website. And so, we've seen this evolution, and now looking ahead at the next, 5, 10, 150 years, it's just, it's so incredible to think about, right? And what the impact will be of the library in the future. Right now, we have some really incredible projects happening where our McCormick branch is getting a big renovation starting this fall. And then in addition, we are working on a feasibility study of the main library. So, the main library was built in 1966 and had an expansion in 1989. And it's probably, it's time for an update. So, we've been asking the community to let us know, what they want to see for the future of the main library and even the library as a whole. What are they expecting and what the role of the library will be in the future. And so it's really important for us to get that feedback from the community, because this is that, the library is that shared experience.
It really is. And I think it's underappreciated and probably underreported. I'm glad we could have this conversation today, Anjana, and that you could make yourself available for it, because I absolutely love the work that you do. I think libraries play such an important role in our community. And what better time to have the conversation than in commemoration of the 150th of WPL. Here's to the next 150. And thank you so much for this today.
Thanks so much, Mike. We always appreciate your support. You've been a great library supporter over the years, so thanks so much for taking the time.
Absolute pleasure. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks so much, Mike.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Anjana Kipfer is the manager of marketing and communications at the Waterloo Public Library. This past weekend, the big birthday bash, but really through the rest of this year, marking 150 years of our Waterloo Public Library. I will admit up front my bias in this regard, okay? I've always been a library guy, a books guy, always have had a love of reading. When I was a kid, it's the second time this week in a different context. So here you go. You're getting some insight into Farwell family vacations of a bygone era. I was sharing earlier in the week. So our family had a cottage in Port Elgin, and that would be a typical way for us to spend a week or even sometimes 2 up at the beach, because the cottage was a stone's throw from the main beach there in Port Elgin. And when we would go, so earlier this week I was telling you about on some weekend mornings when we were up there, my parents would take us out onto the surrounding rural roads where we would collect discarded beer bottles and cans, bring them back into town, take them to the store and get our money, and then we could use our money during our little vacation up there. Loved it. It was a great way to pass some time, I suppose, and earn some money. And one of the other things that I would always do when we got up to Port Elgin, I would go directly, like first day, get to the cottage, unpack the car. Okay, Mom and Dad, drive me into town because I want to go to the Port Elgin Public Library and take out a few books that I can read while we're on this vacation. I still, every time I go back to Port Elgin and I'm on the main street there, I look at that library and think back on that experience. Then, as I've shared with you before, my very first formal volunteer, I've been volunteering with cystic fibrosis for a long, long time, but that's almost like a birthright that I would do something like that because of how cystic fibrosis impacted our family. But for a volunteer, a more formal volunteer experience in this community, my first one was as a trustee with the Kitchener Public Library Board. And that just reawakened all of this for me in the community. And I was on that board with the Kitchener Public Library as we did the expansion and renovation on the main branch on Queen Street. And I still love walking into that building to this day. I was just there a couple of weeks ago. And the bright space and just the vibrancy that it is. Even then, going back, when was I on that board? Around 2007, I guess, at the Kitchener Public Library. And there was all the talk then, like, who needs a library anymore? We've got the internet and this and that. I'll tell you this. Libraries are the great equalizers. They really are. They make so much so accessible to so many. So whether you think the internet and your smartphone is all you need or not, I promise you that libraries, I mean, think of one of the things that Anjana mentioned, and that is, borrowing a pair of skates to go to the Waterloo Public Square and enjoy your skate that day, for example. Libraries have evolved. They're not just dusty old repositories of books and information, and you have to walk around in a pretty dimly lit building and be quiet all the time. They're really community hubs in so many different ways. Absolutely love them. There's my bias coming out. I know, I'm a geek, but I wear it proudly. I really do. And the Waterloo Public Library is celebrating its 150th anniversary this year, going all the way back to 1876. Canada was just a wee lad at the time when the WPL came along. You can follow along on their website, sign up for that mailing list at WPL.ca. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio.
I've been looking for a dream that would wanna be my wife. That was my intention.
But so pretty, you and me, erotic city, come alive. Erotic city, can't you see? But so pretty, you and me, every time I comb my hair.
This is one for Nate, Farwell's Force member number 8. He wanted to hear a little bit of Erotic City by Prince on this All Request Friday, Prince edition. It was 10 years ago this week we lost Prince. We celebrate him and his music on our All Request Friday today. It is right around that time of the day, just around 10:20 every day. We like to take a break from some of the heavier stuff. We set aside the complaining and kvetching for just a moment to remind you that not everyone is a jackwagon. Not everyone will vote themselves an 89% increase for the committee that they chair at Regional Council. Not everyone will do that. And I remind you, Councillors Redmond and James and Rodriguez and Craig and Liggett and Shantz and Gowing and McCabe and Wolf and Hunick and Nowak who voted in favor of the 89% increase. It's not too late to change your mind. I get it. In the big picture, the money that we're talking about here is the proverbial drop in the bucket. But there's something else at stake, and that is the message you send to the hardworking people of this community who do not get $5,500 increases for a part of their job that they can vote themselves. Just remember that aspect of it, okay? It's never too late to change your mind. And maybe Councillors Erb, Foxton, Harris, and Verbanovic, who voted against the increase, can convince their fellow councillors that a reconsideration is in order.
Not everyone's a jackwagon. Not every heart is cold. Not every promise made to you is gonna turn to gold and fold. Some people mean it when they say they care. Some folks will show up, actually be there. So don't close the door on every soul you meet. Not everyone's a jackwagon on this street.
How can I follow up our conversation about the 150th birthday of our Waterloo Public Library without sharing a story today about the library dads? That's right. It all started when Kari Arnold brought his 4-month-old daughter, Araya, to the library, hoping to build connection and inspire in her a love of reading. After making regular trips to the library with his daughter for a year, Kari thought, you know what? More people might be interested in this idea, taking their kids to the library. So he posted about his experience on Instagram, and he invited other dads to join.
And after doing it for a year, I decided it would make sense to get other dads involved in learning how to bond through books, through going to the library. We want to bond through books and build a brotherhood. That's one of the things we want to do here is reduce that feeling of isolation and also reverse the literacy crisis.
You want to bond through books and build a brotherhood. Now, dozens of dads are regularly meeting at this Atlanta library to share their love of reading with their kids. And at the same time, the library dads are improving literacy skills. Research shows that children who are read just one book a day hear roughly 300,000 more words by the age of 5 than children who are not regularly read to by a parent. You know, it just occurred to me. Children who are read just one book a day hear roughly 300,000 more words by the age of 5. Maybe you could put your toddler in front of the radio and let them experience this show. Think of the number of words they'll hear. Oh, I know. Not all of them are fit for toddler consumption, but nonetheless. Who says social media is all bad, eh? Kari Arnold takes his idea to Instagram, and next thing you know, the library dads are a thing. They are a force, and they are our reminder today that not everyone is a jackwagon. If you know someone who is not a jackwagon, by all means, drop me an email, mike@570news.com. Happy to share their stories. The more local, the better. There are lots of people around here who are not jackwagons, and we would love to celebrate their stories. Kind of like the story we got to share about an hour ago, just after the 9:30 news this morning, about that daffodil smile that we all see on Highway 85 northbound. Jocelyn Schaefer joined our show because it reminds her of her father, who originally planted that daffodil happy face with some of his students from Bluevale Collegiate many, many years ago. By all means, drop me an email anytime. Maybe you just want to say hi. Mike@570news.com works for that, and we'll share more stories every day around 10:20 that remind you that not everyone is a jackwagon. It is a Friday. It is a game day, baby. A playoff game day. And the head coach of the Kitchener Rangers joins us next. It's the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio. Today is finally the day. And that song, of course, the song you'll hear when the Kitchener Rangers score a goal at the Memorial Auditorium as we finally get the Western Conference Championship underway. It is the battle for the Wayne Gretzky Trophy. And it begins tonight in Kitchener as the Rangers take on the Windsor Spitfires. It feels like forever, but we're back to the rink tonight. And on Friday mornings at this time, as he has done all season long, we are joined by the head coach of the Kitchener Rangers, UC Ahokas, for the Coaches Show. UC, good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to ask first about Sam O'Reilly, because he is one of the finalists for the Red Tilson Award as the most outstanding player in the Ontario Hockey League. What have you seen from Sam O'Reilly? What has he meant to this hockey club?
Well, in all, he's a great leader. He plays a great two-way game. He competes really hard, and then, of course, his hockey sense and ability to make plays and come up when we need it, that's huge. So, yeah, we have a great hockey player here.
Certainly do, and he's got some championship experience, along with Jared Woolley, of course, his former teammate in London. How important are guys like that at this time of the season, coming into a series like this, UC?
I think that it's really important. They know what it takes to win, and they've seen it, so and they want to do it again. So I think that's just that experience from those tough games. It means a lot, and they're not the first time in this situation, so it's a big advantage.
You swept Saginaw in round one. You got past Sault Ste. Marie in 5 games in round 2. When you look back on that series versus the Greyhounds, UC, what are your takeaways as to how your team was able to knock off the Sioux?
I thought we did a good job, all in all. I thought the expected goals in every game were for us, so we were the better team. We had solid defense. We had only, I would say, maybe 2 bad periods, what I didn't like, but otherwise there was solid playing, and George was, of course, they had a great goalie, so we still could go get pucks past them every game well. So I thought, all in all, it was a solid performance from the team.
I know how important it is in the playoffs to get as much time between series as you can. You had 8 days, after the Saginaw series, another 7 after the Sioux series. Does anything change for you this past week as you get guys ready for this next series now versus Windsor in terms of how you prepare?
No, the preparing's the same. I think it was good. We got a good rest, so have Dave. So it's even. So there's no difference there. But just small details and going through how they play and what little adjustments for our game. And we know it's going to be a tight series. But I thought our preparation's gone well. So I think the boys will be ready for tonight.
Speaking of being even, you look at these 2 hockey clubs, you see, and there's not a lot of difference. You look at goals for, goals against, power play, penalty kill, really evenly matched, at least on paper. What are you going to have to do to be successful against this Spitfires team?
Well, I think it all comes in the net front, and who wins the net front will win the series. You have to be, both teams defend well, so you have to have guys who are willing to go there and just win those battles, and there'll be small details, and of course the special teams will be huge. That's a big thing. If they're going, that gives you a big advantage.
I know as we talked towards, as the season went on, we got close to the end of the regular season, how important it was to you to finish as high as possible so that you could have home ice for as long as possible in the playoffs. That's one advantage that you certainly have in this series. You get 4 games at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. What does home ice advantage mean to this hockey club?
Well, it's huge. Our fans, just the rink, it's big. Like it's the best place to play in the whole OHL. Could say the whole CHL, but so it's big for us, and you always want to start at home. So yeah, that's why you go through the regular season just to get this small advantage in the playoffs.
I know managing players' emotions is important. The games just get bigger as the playoffs go on. What about for you as the head coach? Do you get up for times like this in a season, the Final Four, the Western Conference Championship?
Of course, you want to be. This is what you work for, but I think still we go like we've done the whole season. We go game by game, and you want to get you need to get better. And like playoffs, you have to evolve your game and. But yeah, of course, these are fun games. There's no better time to coach in hockey than the spring. It's nice weather outside, and all in all, sun is shining. So, what could be better? What could be better? Yeah.
And those pregame runs, you can go even longer now because the weather's so nice, right?
No, it doesn't tell you that. That's not about. It's just maybe you can run with shorts on. So it's a lot nicer.
All right, UC. I know you'll get the shorts off and your suit on before the game. We'll see you behind the bench. Thank you for being here. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
UC Ahokas, the head coach of the Kitchener Rangers, goes for a run before every game. I know you know that. I told you the story when we were in the Sioux, and I got to the rink a little bit later than I would have hoped, and he was literally running away from me. But listen, the man's got to get his pregame run in. I can't tell you how excited I am, truly, for this game tonight. It feels like the entire season has been building up to this moment. And why not the Kitchener Rangers and the Windsor Spitfires again? Do I need to remind you of the history between these two hockey clubs over the past 5 seasons, this one included? Okay, I will. Because this is the 4th time in 5 years these two teams have met in the playoffs. Let me take you back to 2022. The Kitchener Rangers were the 7th seed in the Western Conference that year. And they went into the playoffs against the number 2 seed London Knights. And in Game 7 in London, in overtime, Mikey Petizian of your Kitchener Rangers scored the game-winning goal, and Kitchener, the 7 seed, knocked off the number 2 seed London Knights. Kitchener advances to play Windsor in the second round. They win Game 1. Windsor wins the next 4. The Rangers are eliminated in 2022. That Windsor team, by the way, went all the way to the OHL Championship and lost in 7 games to the Hamilton Bulldogs. The Bulldogs were still in Hamilton then. That was 2022. So the Windsor Spitfires beat the Rangers in round number 2. In 2023, that Windsor Spitfires team that went all the way to the OHL final in 2022, they didn't reset, rebuild, reload, or they didn't rebuild. They stayed the course and built another big team and finished first in the Western Conference in 2023. The Rangers finished 8th in the Western Conference in 2023. So the two teams met in round number 1. And guess what? The Kitchener Rangers swept the Windsor Spitfires in the first round of 2023. It's the first time, the only time in OHL history that an 8 seed has swept a number 1 seed. Rangers beat the Spits round 1, 2023. Then Kitchener went on to round 2, lost to London. In 2024, the Windsor Spitfires were doing their reset. They missed the playoffs. Last year, Windsor, of course, back in the playoffs. Your Kitchener Rangers in the playoffs. They meet in round number 2. Windsor, looking to avenge that sweep 2 seasons earlier, builds a 3-0 series lead on the Rangers, only to have Kitchener pull off the reverse sweep. 4 straight for the Rangers. Luke Ellenis in overtime on the road in Windsor. And Kitchener takes round 2 in 7 games. So those were the previous 3 meetings coming into this season's meeting, the 4th time in 5 years between these two hockey clubs, and they are so evenly matched. We, I think, are in for a Jim Dandy of a series, and I cannot wait for that puck to drop tonight. I hope you can be there with us at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium, but if you can't, don't worry about it. We've got you covered right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. We'll start with the Harris Law pregame show at 6:30. We'll bring you all of the action during the game. We'll shout out our long-distance listeners like we always do. And then Josh Piercy and I will stick around after the game to take your calls on Rangers Talk until 11. So from 6:30 p.m. until 11 p.m. tonight, your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey has you covered for Game 1 between these Spitfires and your Rangers. It is that time of year that there aren't many scores to look at on the out-of-town scoreboard. There's only one other series. It's the fight for the Bobby Orr Trophy, the Eastern Conference Championship. That series is into Game 2 tonight, so both series will be underway tonight. On Wednesday, the Brantford Bulldogs opened that Eastern Conference Championship with a 4-3 win over the Barrie Colts. So they will play again tonight in Brantford, about 40 minutes away from here, where we will be at the Memorial Auditorium for Rangers Spitfires. Again, remember, everything starts at 6:30 right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. You don't want to miss a thing. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, your KW Titans are one win away from their first ever Basketball Super League championship, and they are up against the defending champs from Sudbury. The Titans get out to a 2-0 series lead. They go on the road to Sudbury, and the Sudbury Five beat them in Game 3. So the Titans will try again in Game number 4 on Monday. Let's check in with the basketball team. Coming up on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio. That is I Like Funky Music. Prince on this All Request Friday, celebrating the songs of Prince. Mike, you wanted to hear that one. Farwell's Force member number 10 on your All Request Friday. Hey, we're only days away from Game 4 between the KW Titans and the Sudbury Five. It is the Basketball Super League Championship. And the Titans have a 2-1 series lead heading into that Game 4 on Monday night. Head coach of the Titans, Cliff Clinkscales, joins the show this morning. Good morning, Coach Cliff.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. David Schooley, the co-owner of the basketball club, joins us as well. David, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
Coach Cliff, let me start with you. The Titans, your Titans, built up a 2-0 series lead here. Chance to close it out in a sweep, but what made the team successful to get that 2-0 series lead?
We had some grit at home, playing with some togetherness and really hanging our hat on toughness on defense.
Did that abandon you in Game 3 in Sudbury? How were the Five able to pick up that big win?
Yeah, so one quarter they abandoned us. They exploded in the second quarter where we gave up 42 points. And in this league, that's way too many points. And for a team that's a three-point shooting team and a scoring team, you can't give them that much confidence playing at home. And they played desperate, and we didn't. And that was the difference in that game.
David, I know you would have loved to have this closed out already, but hey, not everything can finish in the minimum number of games. What does it mean, though, David, to be in this position where you have the chance to bring the Basketball Super League title home to Kitchener?
Yeah, it's very exciting for us, Mike. You know what? I mean, season 9 for the Titans, right? And, we've had a great season so far. I'd really like to finish it out in Sudbury on Monday. But Game 5 is scheduled for Wednesday at 7 if we need it. I think Cliff and the crew think we're going to be able to finish things off on Monday, but Game 5 is there. The exciting part as well on Monday is we're going to have a watch party at the Edelweiss. So, Mike, if you don't have time to drive up to Sudbury to watch the game, you could pop over to the Edelweiss and catch it live.
What a great place, a great venue, and I can already see all those Titans fans packed around Lorne's Bar there on Homer Watson and Dune Village at the Edelweiss. It'll be a great time for sure, and the home team can give a little support from afar. You mentioned, David, 9 years with these Titans, and I know how hard you and Kate and the Hirani family, like everybody's been working so hard at building this brand, building a successful basketball club. What's that journey been like for you?
It's been busy, right? I mean, Kate does all the heavy lifting. Cliff does all the heavy lifting on the team end. I get to go and go to games and make a little bit of noise. It's the only time. We're busy in the real estate business. That's what we're doing most of the time. It's been exciting, though, to see the team evolve and to see how Cliff is building a better organization and team every single year. And this year, I think we have 11 original starters. Is that right, Cliff? Like, we have 11 people that we started with at the beginning of the season.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That is pretty amazing to be at this point in the time in the season and still have the bulk of our team still here. And our team got spirit of the game. One of our players. Targus Ferguson got 6-man, right? Which, that's all Cliff's planning. I mean, we got 6-man of the year last year as well, right, Cliff, with D-Bar.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And Cliff pulled it off again, Coach of the Year. That's two. That's two for Cliff, and certainly deserved that. It was indisputable that he deserved Coach of the Year again this year.
Coach Cliff, tell me a little more about that culture that David is talking about and what you're really trying to build here with this basketball club.
I just trying to build a winning culture here from day one. I said that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to build each and every year, just have a winning mindset and a championship mindset. And that's not just when the season starts. That's just walking the walk and talking the talk every day. That starts in practice. That starts in film. Acting like a champion and conducting yourself as a champion. And also just make sure we recruit some high-character guys that want to get out in the community, reach the kids and touch the kids and let them know if you stick to your dreams and goals, there's anything possible. So that's the main thing. Just getting guys that got high character and still trying to chase something in their basketball journey.
So knowing that this was the goal, to build that championship culture, being this close to it, Coach Cliff, how's that feel? You're one win away from a title.
It feels great. You can see it. You can almost touch it. It's right there, but they ain't gonna give it to you. You got to earn it. You still got to earn it. You still got to break the ground. Still got to put the work in every day. And understand, nothing in life comes easy. You don't want nothing in life to come easy. So all the work we've been putting in all year, we're gonna need all of that for Game 4 and more, especially being on the road. So it's gonna come down to how hard we compete and how bad do we want it.
Really can't wait for Monday night's Game 4, hoping that the Titans can do it. If they can't do it on the road, they'll come back home next Wednesday and play Game 5. And you can catch Game 4 at a watch party at the Edelweiss on Monday night. David, how are you feeling?
You know what? Cautiously optimistic. We're excited. Cliff often mentions playing with house money. What we mean by that is Sudbury played with nothing to lose, right? They came out of it hot, and we had a challenging second quarter. We won the third and fourth quarter, but we had a bit of a hole there, too big of a deficit to pull it back. We have two more opportunities to bring the championship home, and I'm pretty comfortable that when we look at the record of the club this year, it's exceptional. best record we've ever had. I was watching Shoresy last night, and I think we hate losing more than anything else. So I think that going into that mindset, Cliff always talks about the next 3 minutes and the next play, and that's what we're doing. We're moving on from last week, and we're going to move into Game 4 and bring it home for Kitchener.
We're all pulling for you guys. Thanks so much for joining the show again this morning. Good luck on Monday night.
Good. Thank you. Appreciate having us again, Mike.
You got it, guys. David Schooley, the co-owner of your KW Titans. Cliff Clinkscales is the head coach. The Titans can win the Basketball Super League Championship with a win in Sudbury on Monday night. This is the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio. It is an all-request Friday celebrating the music of Prince, and that is Kiss by request for Dave, as we welcome our Friday 4 Roundtable guests to the program. Something else we do every Friday, just like all request. 11 until noon, we discuss the week's big stories with some guests around the virtual table. Those guests this morning, Linda Ockwell-Jenner, the president of MotivationalSteps.com. Linda, good morning. David.
Good morning.
Oh, there you
I'm
are.
all the better for seeing you. Can you see me?
Yes, I didn't hear you right away, though. I thought you were still on mute, but I didn't see the mute sign. Anyway, it's nice to see you and hear you, Linda.
It's lovely to see you, and it's really nice to be back on the Friday 4 panel. I always find it very much fun and interesting.
David Kuhn joins us as well, former board chair at KW Accessibility. David, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Our buddy Edward Ferruzel, the ED at KW Accessibility, was on the news this morning talking with our Josh Piercy about that upcoming potential strike at Grand River Transit.
Yes, I know. That was, let's hope it doesn't happen. That's where I'm at.
I completely understand that. Always good to hear from Edward. And Steve Bentley, of course, is here, managing principal at Northern River Financial. Bentley, good morning.
Spitfires.
What did you just say?
I don't know. I know the Kitchener's going to win.
Okay. I thought you just said go Spitfires there. And did you have...
No, I didn't say go. I just said Spitfires.
Gotcha.
I'm looking forward to it. When's the first game?
Tonight. Were you been under a rock?
So you got a log. No, I was just curious if you were going to be traveling up this afternoon. Yeah. Wow.
Did you have...
Rangers all...
Did you have your fingers in your ears when we were playing Prince, by the way? What's the matter with you, Bentley?
I just have a certain place for that kind of music.
Okay, fair enough. And the Rangers have home ice advantage. We're starting at the odd tonight. Good. Okay, let's get down to business because there is much to discuss. I mean, the plane story, the Ontario government plane, it feels like the story began and ended in about 6 days because we learned that it had been purchased and then it was sold right back to Bombardier. Listen, you make sense of it, but Linda, I'll start with you. Why was a plane for the Ontario government such a bad idea?
Okay, so I don't know whether anybody knows it, but I think we're in a recession maybe. We've got lots of problems with another country very close by. Lots of people can't afford to live. The food is going up. And Ford goes and buys a plane, which costs a lot of money when there's other ways he can get from A to B. I understand he said, oh, well, it's like Ontario's like travelling all the way to Texas. I've got to travel across Ontario. And why it makes me very angry, a lot of people can't even travel today because they can't afford it because the plane crisis with the gasoline, they can't even get on a plane and travel anywhere. How can he afford a plane with all the prices of the gasoline going up and everything? I think he was being sneaky. I don't know about you guys. I think he's saying to himself, okay, I'll buy a plane. It'll cause a lot of problems. And then I'm going to be a good guy when everybody says that's bad. And I'm going to sell it back. And then they'll think I'm a really good guy and I care about the homeless and having, no food and all the rest of it. And we'll vote for him again. I think he's being sneaky and manipulating us. But he sold the plane at no profit.
Yes, we
He's
didn't
just wasted it. Yeah.
we didn't lose any money on it, so there's that side of it. David, what do you think?
I want to know what Bombardier gained for it. Look, I think I actually don't have a problem with the plane itself. What I have a problem with is the pattern, because it feels like this is classic Doug Ford. Create the situation, take the heat, then turn around and fix it so you can say you listened. So it's kind of like setting a fire just so you can be the one to put it out and then call yourself a hero.
Yeah.
And, if you go back to Doug Ford's first year in office, there were lots of announcements that on paper should have been very fine, but the execution was very bad. So again, this is what I say about classic Doug Ford. And then there's this persona, this aw shucks everyday guy image. Look, Doug Ford's a very wealthy man, and I have no problem with that. And, but I do have a problem with pretending like, you're like everyone else while making decisions like this. And then you act surprised by the reaction, and then you pull back. And because you're telling me that nobody in the government thought that spending this money, what is it, 29 million on a jet in this economic climate with everything that's going on, there wouldn't be a backlash. So either they misread it badly or they knew exactly what they were doing, kind of along the lines of what Linda said. And I mean, look at what just passed with the FOI law. Very, very convenient, right? So instead of getting it right the first time, they go through this cycle again. Announce, backlash, reverse, reset. I think at some point we need to stop giving credit for putting out fires and start asking why he keeps setting them in the first place. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Doug, look what you did. You're saving us from the fires that you start and then pour jet fuel on. Thanks a lot.
I love it. Pour jet fuel on. But why are we talking about the fires? Why aren't we talking about why you are setting the fires? Very good way to look at it. Steve Bentley, why was the plane a bad idea?
Yeah. We start with Quebec. Excuse me, have $100 million in jets that they supposedly use. A couple of them are the same as the Bombardier that Doug Ford bought. And of course, the U.S. is where he wants to spend a lot of his time flying across Canada potentially. But do you know only 10% of the airports in Ontario can actually handle that particular jet? I mean, the federal government just spent $700 million on new aircraft, but they do fly around the world. And why does he not say, this is what I want to do, and then get a reaction to it instead of going through the process of buying something and then saying, oh, look what I have. Hope you're happy with it. And of course we're not. I mean, Linda and David just ran out and said all the different things that people in our day and age have to think about in terms of our daily lives and think, oh, go ahead and buy a jet. He's going to argue, well, I need to get to places quicker. I can't rely on commercial traffic. That doesn't mean you'd go ahead and do that. And then what he does is what David just brought up with the Freedom of Information Omnibus bill that they put through late at night. Why are they doing that late at night? There's only one reason. They want to mitigate the number of people that are involved and get it passed. And he has the majority to do that. So no, it wasn't appropriate. Is there a business plan for this jet? I don't know. Did something get put forward to say, here's why it makes sense? No, it didn't. So it's just another example. I think he was trying to, go back a little bit and say you want to put a tunnel under the 401, maybe to park that jet in. I don't know if that's and so we just the monies that he's put in people's pockets with land acquisition and distribution to developers and the Ontario Science Center and taking over the Billy Bishop Airport. I mean, it's just so many things. It's a little of a southern flavor for me, and I don't want to go further than that to say we need to look down south to see some of the examples of what Mr. Ford is doing right now. So no, if we had a reasonable business plan and people agreed with it, okay, but not the way it was done.
Yeah, and I think that's the key here. And really, this might have been a chance to build that reasonable business plan and communicate with the public. And now, given the way this has gone, because the plane idea has been talked about for decades, and no government has really had the guts yet to pull it off. And then the way that Doug Ford tried to pull it off has probably set this back for generations of future governments here in Ontario. If you ever wanted that plane, which you could make a business case for, you really could. And here we are. Steve Bentley, Linda Ockwell-Jenner, and David Kuhn with us on our Friday 4 Roundtable this morning. We'll take a break and come back with a conversation about something that was raised at Waterloo Council earlier this week. What about the idea of a deposit return system for non-alcoholic beverage containers? Has the time for such a program arrived here in Ontario? We'll talk about it as we wrap up Earth Week with our Friday 4 Roundtable on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio. Comes from the soundtrack of the Batman movie. It's Party Man by Prince on this All Request Friday, All Prince edition. David Kuhn, Steve Bentley, Linda Ockwell-Jenner with us on the Friday 4 Roundtable this morning. I'll start with David on this next question, which is about a deposit return system for non-alcoholic beverage containers in this province. Councillor Julie Wright brought the idea forward by way of motion at Waterloo Council this week. It was adopted unanimously. All it really means is that the municipal council will advocate on behalf of the municipality to the province, because it's up to the province to do something like this. But David, what do you think of the idea? Has it reached its time here in Ontario?
So I think in principle, I think it's a good idea. And I think we know how, people tend to respond to these incentives. We see it with alcoholic beverage containers, obviously. But what I question is, because as I said, we already have that system for alcoholic bottles. But I think it was a couple of years ago, they said there's something like 50 million in unclaimed deposits. So I'm just wondering, what if people are losing that much money, leaving that much money on the table with alcoholic beverage containers, are they going to is the same thing going to happen if the opposite is the case? And I know the argument for the alcoholic beverage containers is, I think there's less places to drop them off, and fewer places accept them. But that's my real question with this. So it's not about the idea that should we recycle, should we not recycle? Of course we should, and of course people will if they have the means to do so. But I just question whether they are going to have the means to do that.
I think you raised such a good point, David, because as we talk today about all of the affordability challenges, right, and how tight money is, yet we seem quite willing. I see it in blue boxes all the time. Deposit eligible bottles and cans just tossed away because I guess we decide that the 10 cents isn't worth our time to get them to a return depot. Steve Bentley, What say you?
A return depot. That's an interesting question. I mean, I was reading an article this morning that said in Ontario, empty alcoholic beverage bottles are returned to Ontario beer stores about 80% of the time. And when I look at the overall recycling program that's in place now in our region and in other parts of Ontario, I think it's getting overly complicated for what people are to do with recyclable items. I'd love to see every bottle, every can returned. The incentive, let's say 10 cents a bottle, in today's society for most people, well, I mean, I look at that statistic and I say 80%. Okay, what happens when we get rid of the beer stores, right? Where are people taking the recyclables? That's the question I have. I mean, back to grocery stores, is that where it's going to go? Where people are buying, and the convenience stores where people are buying alcohol now in bottles. So I don't know that part of the program. I think that we should be in step with other parts of Canada and certainly other parts of the world to do our best to recycle. That said, with what's going on right now in the region with the new recycling programs and the wheelable bins and the process for loading trucks and the ones that are missed, and people have nowhere to store them if they're not living in a house with a garage, it just is getting a little messy. And I don't mean that in terms of stuff lying all over. I just think it's just getting complicated, I think, for a lot of people to really know what to do, how to do it. And yeah, of course, when you're asking anybody to do something like that, you try and make it as easy as possible. I'm continually having to ask my partner, does this go in dry garbage? Does this go in recycling? Does this go in the garbage? Does this go? And I'm thinking, oh, and of course, most people would say, well, who bother? Just throw it in whatever, right? And then, the process of recycling now is one where, it all goes into a location and it's got to get almost handpicked. It's expensive. And then I look to the cost of actually having recycling, and I don't know that it's paying for itself. And of course, with the change to a private system now, they're going to have to make a profit doing it. So I don't know, coming forward in a few years, going to have them come back and say, hey, we can't do this anymore because we're losing money doing it. So yes, I do. But I do think the overall program in general and the overall process in general really, really needs to have a serious look and serious overhaul and integration to try and make it so that people will want to follow it.
I love that point too, Steve. And I think you speak for a lot of households. I know you speak for mine. I've taken great pride over the years in being an expert recycler, if you will. My beloved teases me all the time, but with the change now, and I'm like, oh yeah, toothpaste tubes are eligible for the recycling bin. I can't keep up, and I feel like I need to go back to recycling school, and it can be overwhelming. So it's a really good point there too. Linda, what do you think? Is it time for Ontario to adopt a deposit return system for non-alcoholic beverage containers?
It's time for Ontario to get the act together and plan ahead and plan better. I've got to touch on the new recycling bins. They are massive, and they've kept giving us ideas what to do with our smaller ones. We are using 4 because we saw our neighbours doing it. We are using our old recycled blue bins and our new ones because they're only taken away every 2 weeks. For goodness sake, people, we pay more taxes, we pay more for everything, and you're giving us less. Onto the bottles. I know that the bottles that say, I like ginger beer. It comes in a bottle, unfortunately. It helps my voice. So they mount up in the garage, and I found out that if we want to, we can take them back to the beer store, but we don't get any money on them. Now, let's go back in years. I'm going to tell you how many years. But in England, a milkman would deliver a bottle of milk. And then you'd wash that bottle out, glass, and he would take it away. So the only thing I can think of when the beer store disappears is if I go to a grocery store or a little store and I buy a bottle of something, anything, and they charge us, if you bring it, no, they can't charge us. But basically, I think we should take it back, the glass bottles back to the stores we got them from, whether we get a deposit on it or not, and not be lazy. You mentioned Earth Day, and we're talking about, the earth is going to blow up in a few years because we use too much electric, too much gas and all of that. And you said a good thing, Mike. You said, People don't care about putting the right things in the blue bins. People don't care about anything today, I don't think, in this world. Nobody switches off the lights when it's Earth Day. Nobody cares to do the recycling right. And we've got governments, municipalities, and people on our councils all arguing about what to do. Let's get our act together and start asking people like us. Whew, that's my rant.
I like the door-to-door milk delivery analogy here, because you leave the bottle right there. How much easier could it get? So let's put another person in the recycling truck, and their job is to sort through all of your stuff and leave you the money right at the doorstep. How about that? I'm sure that would be incredibly efficient. You don't have to do anything. Linda Ockwell Jenner, David Kuhn, Steve Bentley with us on our Friday 4 roundtable this morning. We're going to get you an update from the 570 News Center. And then what kind of a stunt do you need to give the release date of your new album? I'm looking at you, Drake. We'll talk about that goofy thing. And speaking of goofy, how about an 89% increase to the honorarium you are paid to sit as the chair of a regional committee? We'll get the Friday 4's perspective on those stories coming up on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio. Come on, Bentley. Even you. Come on with your coming on. You got to get behind a little Purple Rain. I mean, it's no Raspberry Beret, but let's go.
I could use a Raspberry Beret at this stage of life, too. I mean, yeah.
Hang tight. 25 more minutes, you can go shopping for Raspberry Berets. It's all Prince all the time on our All Request Friday today. And Tony and Patty both wanted to hear Purple Rain. Dare I say, the signature Prince song. It is our Friday 4 roundtable. The aforementioned Bentley is Steve Bentley, managing principal, Northern River Financial. Linda Ockwell Jenner is with us, the president of motivationalsteps.com. And David Kuhn is here as well, former board chair at KW Accessibility. I want to make sure I set this up properly because it got lost in translation a little bit yesterday. So the context is this. If you are a regional councillor in our region, you earn a salary of roughly $50,000. If you are one of those councillors who chairs one of 3 committees of regional council, you get an additional $7,400 in pay. But thanks to a vote just this week at regional council, that $7,400 in pay increases by about $5,500, taking you to about $13,000 in pay. So you've got your salary of $50,000-ish. The honorarium goes from $7,400 to about $13,000, an increase of $5,500 or 89% on the money you earn as a committee chair. Steve Bentley, I will start with you on your thoughts about the 89% increase.
Optics. You know, how many times do these kind of things come forward and all of a sudden we're blindsided and then we're shocked by a decision that's made and voted upon? I mean, where else can you go to be able to decide on your own compensation? This was not recommended in any of the citizen board or consultants that provided input to the change. At this point, you know, they're already getting some adjustments for cost of living. They've capped the actual increase per year to 3%. How many people would be able to go to their employer and know that they're going to get cost of living? So there's a start. And I was digging into what you just said, so thank you for doing that, because I was really trying to understand exactly where that was coming from in terms of the augmentation. So as you said, the increase to the chair is about $5,500 a year. So But as somebody else labeled, it's a part-time job. Where can I get a part-time job being paid $60,000, right? They do a lot of work. They also elected into that role. And as you know, that what's wrong with public consultation when you want to do something? And unfortunately, I think what they look to is to say, well, that's just standard. Nobody's, going to have an issue with that. And all of a sudden they have an issue. And council has had a few issues over the last couple of years in terms of disclosure of information. And people have been upset with land acquisition, with water issues. And here's another one, so the optics just are not played right. If, again, and I'm thinking back to a prior discussion we had a little while ago about putting something forward so the electorate can see what the proposal is, whether it's through a citizen committee. But again, no professional recommendation for that increase to the chair. Is it warranted? They're saying, well, we want to be in line with the Police Services Board. Well, that's a different kind of board to start with. Now we're talking about elected regional councils, councillors, I should say. And so it is slightly different. You can't directly compare the two. There's a different ask in both cases. But ultimately, we need to make sure that people are aware and not shocked by news coming forward like this. I mean, all of a sudden they say, this is what's happening, and we've already said yes. Now, doesn't it take effect until the next term? So there is an election coming up in October, so people have an ability to reflect on some of the things that have happened in respective council over the last couple of years and make the changes that they see fit in terms of how they feel people should be elected. Here's the other thing. The other thing that's coming down is we don't know what's going to be happening with some of these regional councils going forward. I mean, Mr. Ford's got his finger in the pudding again, and he wants to stir things up. He wants to do it with the conservation authorities, and he also wants to do it with some regional councils and have the ability to pick the regional chair. No. And so this is just a big quagmire right now. So I just think that should have been a little more upfront. This is what we'd like to do, and then sort of get the perspective and then move forward based on the reaction.
And of course, I think we know what the response would have been had the public been consulted here. But I think your point on optics is a very good one here, Steve. Linda, what do you think of it?
Well, I'm sad, actually, very, very sad, because first of all, I know they do a great job. Let me say that. I respect them all. They do a great job. But everything Steve said, I'm not going to repeat. You heard what Steve said. I agree with everything Steve said. So the one thing that really got to me, what Steve said, was who can get it's a part-time job. And I think you said, Steve, they get about $5,500 pay. Is that correct? Did I get that wrong?
No, close to $60,000 with it. $60,000 with what was just voted in.
Okay. And that's for the part-time job.
Yeah, as chair.
Yeah, okay, that's true. So basically, I'm really, really sad because one of my sons works at CMHA, Canadian Mental Health Association. He's been there for 10 years, and they cannot afford to give him 5 days a week because they haven't got the budget. So every now and then, he'll get the 5 days a week for 6 months, then he goes down to 3 days, and he has to get a part-time job. But not a part-time job that pays that much. And he has to pay his mortgage. So something's a bit skew here, isn't it? Why can't we have more money for the things that help with our health? And secondly, why can't the councillors ask us what we think, first of all? Because, as I say, everything's going up in price. Everything's happening. I know they said they were going to change the garbage and all of that, but I don't remember whether they were asked about that. So I'm getting really annoyed as a Canadian citizen living in Canada for over 30 years that we're not being asked about things. The living here is getting worse. And if councillors can earn more than somebody working at the CMHA helping with mental health, there's something desperately wrong. And again, I will stress, I love the councillors. They're doing a great job. And if Ford dares to interfere and put somebody in the place of chair that he thinks can be his, wind-up dollar or something, I shall have a word with Ford.
All right. From Linda over to David Kuhn. What do you make of the 89% increase for committee chairs?
So from my perspective, I think there are a couple things going on here. First off, I'll just say I don't have a problem with politicians getting paid for the work that they do. It's often a very thankless job. People see the votes, they see the headlines, but they don't see the hours, the marathon meetings that turn part-time jobs into not part-time jobs. So, and they also don't see the abuse that gets directed at a lot of politicians. And I mean real abuse. Stuff that I can't even say on the radio for fear of getting Mike canceled. So we don't want to do that. But there's some pretty nasty stuff that people, yes, they're elected, but anybody else doing a job would not be expected to put up with some of the stuff that these folks do. That being said, and politicians still have to read the room because we're in a moment. Again, this has come up already today. We're focused on affordability. So looking at property taxes, cost of living, all that. And when you're in that kind of environment, governments at any level, I would think, from my perspective, should try to be a bit more restrained and understanding. And I say that as somebody who works in government relations. And one of the things I tell people that I work with is to temper expectations around budget time and election cycles because governments typically, are mindful of how certain things look to voters. And that's where this in particular feels really off to me. And it really doesn't help when you've got the province and Doug Ford looking at, appointing the regional chair. So doing stuff like this, not only is it tone deaf to the voters, but it's also failing to acknowledge that the province is already looking at you. Why are you going to give them more of a reason to step in? So again, I think we should pay politicians for the work that they do, but I would say in this area, it's more structural. I would like to see less politicians and maybe pay them a little more because we have too many politicians. And I think that's something we need to look at. So, and I know the A word, amalgamation, a lot of people have strong feelings on that, but I think that will solve a lot of these questions too.
I've got strong feelings.
Can I just jump in?
Sure.
Can I just jump in? Steve? Really sorry. The point we're making, though, and I agree with everything you guys are saying, is these people want to do this job. They want to be elected. And it's the same as anybody, a non-for-profit, the same as my son. He wants to do that work, but he can't ask for a pay rise. So, and he doesn't come to us and ask us, obviously, the general public. So what I'm saying is, if you decide to do any job and you're not paid enough and you go and ask your boss for more money, it's not going to happen, whoever it is. So basically, even though we elected these people, you said it then, Mike, they're tone deaf. They're not listening to what we're saying and they're not asking what we want. So yes, they work hard. They should be paid, but they should ask us if, money should be paid elsewhere first and foremost. Does that sound rude, Mike? I mean, am I making a good point?
No, I think you're absolutely right. And you knew what the money was coming in and you still ran for the position. And we had a call earlier today from Rory, and I think he nailed it because to David's point, I don't think any of us begrudge people being paid and even paid well for the job that they do. We never see the countless behind the scenes hours. So we can call this a part-time job all we want. It's a 3/4 job at minimum, if not more, not to say anything about all of the other things they deal with. Nobody's going to begrudge that. Rory's suggestion was just tie increases to inflation, period. So every year, your salary as an elected official can go up with inflation. I don't think anybody would complain about that. And I don't know why we're not doing it. Speaking of amalgamation and strong feelings, I have strong feelings on that. The sooner, the better. But I'll leave it right there. Mike. Okay. When does a publicity stunt require the services of our fire department? I guess when Drake does it. We'll talk about the ice sculpture gone wrong coming up on the Mike Farwell Show with our Friday 4 Roundtable on 570 News Radio.
Seems that I was busy doing something close to nothing but different
is everything. And that's what DJ Dev decided to play on this All Request Friday Prince edition. It's Raspberry Beret, but requested by Farwell's Force member number 35. Clinton and Marion wanted to hear some Raspberry Beret. We referenced it earlier. Okay, we're running a little short on time, but how much time do you need to talk about the latest stunt from a multimillionaire? Is Drake a billionaire yet? I'm not sure. But he's got a new album coming out, you see. And in order to build anticipation for said album and its release date, Drake took it upon himself to essentially take over an empty lot in downtown Kitchener and build an ice sculpture there. Within that ice sculpture was the release date. And I guess the idea was for the ice sculpture to melt and the release date to be revealed. What could possibly go wrong? I don't know, people showing up with pickaxes and blowtorches to melt the ice faster. Linda, what do you make of Drake's decision to build the massive ice sculpture?
I don't even know who Drake is.
Atta girl.
So if he has to build an ice sculptor, really?
He didn't ask.
Tell everybody he didn't even ask.
No.
Who the hell does he think he is?
He thinks he's Drake.
Yeah, I'm not a Drake person. I know there's been guns outside his house and everything. Don't listen to his music. Don't care who he is. He's big-headed, he's spoiled, and he's made a lot of work for everybody. And if anybody buys his record, so be it, or whatever it is. Over to you guys.
I love it. I feel the same. What a sense of entitlement that he thinks he can just go do this. David Kuhn, your thoughts?
Well, Linda's undecided there. No, you know what? The Drake, I remember him before he was Drake, when he was an actor. But anyway, look, I feel like there's a theme for a lot of these questions today, and it's read the room and being tone deaf and a whole bunch of other stuff. Look, it's a music video. It's about marketing. It's supposed to get attention. Well, mission accomplished. But you're setting off a massive explosion in a major urban center. And, people are going to wonder what that's all about. Post 9/11 world. Things going on, stuff like that's going to happen. People are going to freak out. People are going to be concerned, and rightfully so. So whether the city approved the explosion is beside the point. I mean, I don't know why they would have, but okay, fine. But then the public reaction is the public reaction. And then you layer on the ice sculpture, which again, creative idea until, you think about open flames. Suddenly the fire department's there. It's a big safety issue. So, I mean, at a certain point, you have to go, is it worth it? Because 2026, how much technology do we have to, create certain scenarios without all the physical, the stuff that we needed to do years ago to make something happen, pyrotechnics, special effects, whatnot. So I don't know. I'm not as adamant as Linda about it, but I still think it's ridiculous.
And leave it to people to climb on the ice sculpture, put themselves at risk, the pickaxes, the blowtorches, and the amount of warm water firefighters had to use. Imagine if we had that happen around here with our current water situation. It was like upward hundreds of thousands of gallons of, anyway. I'll just leave it there. Steve, you're still on mute, and we'll get your thoughts now on Drake's ice sculpture stunt.
Oh, come on. What's more important in life right now? I mean, what did they end up having to pay police and fire and all the other services and cost of water for this silly ice sculpture, as far as I'm concerned? And they've had prior issues, like with I think there was a music video that was shot and they got involved with pyrotechnics and there was an issue. And so Toronto Council clamped down on some things, but where does that get reviewed and approved? I mean, what did they think people were going to do, right? They're going to just try whatever they can do to get the ice chipped away so they can find this magical date of some album being released. And Linda hit it on the head. He's just an entitled, selfish, narrow-minded, as far as I'm concerned. I didn't say that. He wants to do what he wants to do, and everybody should just go along for the ride. So I'm not supportive of it in any way, and I don't think council should have approved this, as far as I'm concerned, because obviously they didn't look into it deep enough to sort of say, okay, what are some of the things that could happen if we do this? And obviously they didn't do that. So I just think there's so many other things we should be focused on in our lives. And, a release date for some artists. Now, he is living on the bridle path amongst areas, so he is a prominent citizen. He goes right back to Degrassi Junior High. So we have a history, but I'm sorry, this is ridiculous.
If it was the release date for a Rush album, I might feel differently. But Drake, I don't know.
Rush wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
No.
Good boys, those Rush boys are, Getty and Alex. Steve Bentley, Managing Principal, Northern River Financial. Linda Ockwell-Jenner, the president at motivationalsteps.com. And David Kuhn, former board chair at KW Accessibility. Really appreciate you carving an hour out of your day and week for us. Thank you all for being here, and please do enjoy the weekend ahead.
You too.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
We get my raspberry beret.
You get your raspberry beret and stay out of the purple rain while you're at it. Kitchener Rangers tonight at home to the Windsor Spitfires. We know Bentley's cheering for the Rangers. We'll have the game for you starting with pregame coverage at 6:30. All right, we're going to get you to the 570 News Center for an update, and then phone lines are open to you as they are for our final hour together every week. Free Phones Friday is about to begin. Stay with us. It's the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio.
So when you call up that shrink in Beverly Hills, you know the one. Doctor, everything will be all right. Instead of asking how much of your time is left, ask him how much of your mind, baby. 'Cause in this life, things are much harder than the afterworld. This life, you're on your own. And if the elevator tries to break you down, go crazy. Punch a higher floor. Don't lie, the world you're living in. Take a look around, at least you got friends.
It is Prince and Let's Go Crazy on this All Request Friday, celebrating the songs of Prince. Sandy wanted to hear that one. And thanks to Ron for the email to Mike at 570news.com. Ron said, when you played Party Man from the Batman soundtrack earlier, you forgot to say by whom it was requested. And Ron was one of those requesters. I'm sorry about that, Ron. I did forget to say that. Reed was the other who wanted to hear Party Man earlier today. Well, you send in your request, they get played through the show at random times. But Reed and Ron, apparently only people whose names begin with the letter R, requested Party Man by Prince from the Batman soundtrack. So there you go. Along with Sandy's Let's Go Crazy request to open our final hour together of the week. What? How? Already? Here we are. It's our last chance to have a conversation until next Tuesday. What? Travel day Monday. I'm sorry, kids. I can't make it all work on Monday as we get to Windsor for Game 3. By Monday night, it's going to be Game 3 already of the Rangers Spitfires playoff series. It starts tonight. That's what we're focused on. But just as I was saying, this is our last time to have a conversation until not Monday, but Tuesday, when we'll be back together on the show and I'll be working from the remote offices in Windsor. So please, let's take full advantage of Free Phones Friday again today. 519-570-2545, star 570, and 1-800-570-5715. Also wanted to share this email from Chris to Mike at 570news.com. He says, Mike, that was poetic this morning. I was listening in the work truck on the way to work as always and decided to get the broadcast on the phone as I was reaching the edge of coverage down Highway 6 at Highway 5 into Hamilton. And wouldn't you know, I heard a certain snippet of a song. I also really didn't get into Prince as a youth. I was born in the early 1970s, but my father played it quite a bit. I did, however, develop an appreciation for his generational talent and depth of skills over the years. Thanks for the trip down memory lane. Chris, I'm with you. I felt the same. That's why I shared that same story. And wouldn't you know that we started the show with the song that Chris had wanted to hear. What did we start with today? It wasn't When Doves Cry. It wasn't Raspberry Beret. Little Red Corvette. That was the one. Dev comes through for me. You didn't hear him. Dev just told it in my ears. That's like my secret power. Oh, Farwell, you always know the answer to this, the answer to that. You say the right thing. That's because Dev is telling me what to say. I'm like the dummy, and Dev is like the ventriloquist. He's got his hand up my back, and he just manipulates me in whatever way to make me sound as coherent and intelligent as possible. Guy's got a lot of work to do. Little Red Corvette was Chris's request. Appreciate the email, Chris, which ends with Go Rangers. Oh, yeah, baby. Game day. Playoff game day. All right. Free Phones Friday is always a busy affair, so let's get right down to it. To the phone lines we go. Remember, if you don't get through on one of the lines, try one of the others. They'll ring through for you. So star 570 is not working. Try 519 570 2545. And if that's not working, sneak in that back door at 1-800-570-5715. Nate, Farwell's Force member number 8. Good afternoon.
Good day, Mike. I just want to say how much I really appreciate the show today, all the Prince songs. I was a Prince fan from when Purple Rain came out, so that's right, 84. I'm almost the same age as you. And it was really unfortunate that, a lot of people that liked Prince couldn't really, at high school or whatever, say, hey, I like Prince, because you'd get labeled as, whatever. Let's just say there was a lot of Bentleys around back then. But I noticed after Prince is amazing, still in my opinion, his Super Bowl halftime show was outstanding. And I think a lot of people, that's where they started to change their mind on Prince. And, it's unfortunate that he passed away so soon. And as far as my request goes, I'm sorry. I apologize to Devin. I forgot there was a swear in there because I'm used to the radio edit.
One swear?
Yeah, I think there's only one swear.
You mean the same word comes up multiple times? There's not only one swear, trust me.
Well, the one word is...
Okay.
It was funk. It was F-U-N-K in the radio edit. So I apologize for that. I should have went with Sign of the Times because my name is in it.
Well, it's too late for that now, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Oh, well. Anyway, go Rangers, go.
Thanks, Nate. Nate made it very difficult on the editors here at the station to ensure compliance with regulations, but we managed to get through Erotic City. I did not know. I said this earlier, too. I did not know because I began to appreciate Prince's musicianship later in life. It's still not really my cup of tea, so I don't listen to a lot of Prince, obviously. I was a little bit taken aback, in case you were wondering, with some of the lyrics to some of the songs that have been requested today. But, hey, we're here celebrating the music of Prince because it was 10 years ago this week that we lost Prince. Far too young at 57. So what Prince song comes up next? Well, that's the beauty of All Request Friday. You just don't know, do you? Grant is next on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon, Grant.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mikey. Let's touch on 4 things.
Oh, my goodness, 4. Okay.
It'll be fast. I don't think it's a big deal with Drake and that ice sculpture.
I think it was stupid. But okay, that's
right.
Well, yeah, it's dumb. Okay, what's the next one?
And the 89% hike increase. So is that the Kitchener City Council chair? I don't know who.
This is the problem, Grant. We have way too many levels of government and way too many people in way too many seats. So bear with me. I'm going to tell you the names of every one of those regional councillors that voted for the 89% increase to what is paid to a committee chair. Regional chair, Karen Redmond. Councillors.
Oh.
Wait, I'm not. There's a long list, Grant. Hang on.
Yeah,
it starts with Chair Redmond. Then Councillor Colleen James, Councillor Matt Rodriguez, Councillor Doug Craig, Councillor Jan Liggett, Councillor Sandy Shantz, Councillor Joe Gowing, Councillor Dorothy McCabe, Councillor Pam Wolf, Councillor Chantel Huning, Councillor Joe Nowak. To each of those councillors, I will say again, it's not too late to change your mind. New motion next week. Let's take that 89% increase off the table.
Oh, yeah. So is that regional council that you would have to...
Yes, that's who you should complain to.
Well, then I want to go on a Zoom meeting and say no.
All right. Well, you can do that, Grant. That's your right as a citizen. Let's see if you can get that meeting arranged.
Yeah. And
in fairness, Councillor Colleen James called the show yesterday and defended the increase, but called up to. I was fired up. I was ranting and raving a little bit, and she called up to say, "Listen, you got to understand, it's only $5,500. It's a very small part of the overall budget, and it brings us in line with people who sit on the police board." So there you go. That's the argument in favor of the increase.
Yeah, I get a good swat in the back of the head.
Okay, let's not get like that. Stop it. Don't be like that. No, hands are for hugging. They're not for fighting.
No, dang.
Okay.
Ding, ding, dong.
Okay. Well, you got two more things you said you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and I thought the what is it? Kitchener Transit. Were they not already on strike?
Yeah, the last contract. Now this one's coming up, and there's a possibility of a strike. I love how you said Kitchener Transit, because that's old school. It's Grand River Transit now, but there may be a strike next week. We'll keep our eyes on it.
Okay.
Okay.
And how's that girl that has cancer that you had on, that little girl that you said was a sweetie pie that was on your show, or maybe her dad was on the show?
I remember who you're talking about, Grant. That would be little JJ, who is a massive, Jordan is her name. She just rang the bell because she finished her chemo and went all the way up to Sault Ste. Marie to watch the Kitchener Rangers play a playoff game to celebrate being done with chemo. She's a huge Rangers fan. She's been to all kinds of games. She follows the players, everything. And when she was in the Sioux for that game, holding up a sign saying, "I drove 781 kilometers to celebrate being done with chemo," the Rangers staff noticed her with the sign and had her come into the dressing room to read the lineup before Game 3. How awesome is that? And then we had little JJ on our next broadcast. Great story. Love that the Rangers are rallying around this young girl. Love how passionate she is about the team, and love that we're finally starting the playoffs versus Windsor tonight. The Western Conference Championship, the Wayne Gretzky Trophy. Game 1 tonight. Pre-game starts at 6:30 right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. Free Phones Friday continues on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio.
You've been gone, I've been searching for a love in the sea of tranquility. Drowning without you here, my dear. Orion's heart is bright enough to shine on both of us. The constellations never fade, like the river love.
The Arms of Orion. Prince with a little help from Sheena E. on this All Request Friday, celebrating the songs and music of Prince. That one by request from Andre today. Free Phones Friday. It's the way we close out our show together every week. Open phone lines to hear from you. And Chris is with us. Good afternoon, Chris.
Number 181 here, Mike.
Attaboy. Farwell's Force member in good standing. Welcome back.
So, listen, I've been thinking about this a lot with this counselor, how they got the 89% hike.
Yep.
Well, what if we just voted a mayor and replaced him with AI?
I'm not so sure about that, Chris.
Why not?
Because I hate AI.
Well, you know what?
What?
It's free.
Well,
right?
Yeah,
you wouldn't
sure.
have to pay them.
Yeah.
And it'd be smarter, too.
Wow. I don't know about that.
Oh, yeah. If you ask them a question, they instantly they would figure it out. Hey, let's fix the roads, and they would know.
Are you sure about that? Well, but I think, what if
you know what?
What if the AI lies to you? Oh, wait a minute.
No,
Politicians
no,
lie to you anyway.
They're not programmed to lie.
Okay. Yeah.
Politicians are liars.
That's okay. That's a joke. That's a joke.
They're not biased. They're not biased, too.
All right.
Right?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Okay.
Something to think about. Okay, Mike?
All right, Chris.
Have a good day.
You too. Thanks for the call. Farwell's Force member number 181 says, you know what? Let's be done with these elections. Let's just have AI run everything for us. I'm not in favor. I just want to make that clear. I am not in favor of that. Mike, you're next on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon. Hello, Mike.
Oh, hi. Good afternoon. Just about missed you there. Just wanted to touch on your coverage of the Kitchener Rangers. I'm a longtime Brantford fan.
Whoa, wait. How did you get through my phone lines?
I snuck through. I snuck through them. First time caller.
Welcome aboard, buddy.
Love your show. I work in Kitchener. I live in Brantford, but I've been working in Kitchener for several years now. So I love your show. Never get a chance to call in, but today I did. But I've meant to call in before. I just wanted to touch on your coverage of the Rangers. I've been to a few games, the Rangers, and the fans are second to none. Your coverage is second to none. And, if Brantford didn't have a team, then I would be a Kitchener fan. But Kitchener second, Brantford first. And just wondering what your thoughts are on a possible final.
Well, I love that you rep the home team like you do, Mike. And you guys got not only a great team there, but, man, when you get into that, what do they call it? The madhouse it's crazy in that Civic Arena. Well done by you Brantford fans as well.
It is. We have such a small arena. We pack it up pretty good. It's loud. It's a small arena, so it's low roof, but we're working on the new arena. So can't wait for that to happen and see what happens from there.
As for a possible final, I try not to get too far ahead of myself, even as a broadcaster who has no impact on anything. But I cannot tell a lie, Michael. It sounds pretty tantalizing, doesn't it? Kitchener versus their former coach and the Brantford Bulldogs. That would be a wicked OHL final.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for. That's a long ways away. We're up 1-0. It was a tough game. Barry gave us a fight, and we came back and we got that game winner with about 2 minutes left in the game. So, well, hopefully we can do it. But, every series, and you always hope that you win every game. So, let's just say Brantford wins 4, Kitchener wins 4. That's not going to happen, but to save the argument of how we got there, what's your thoughts on a final?
Yeah, I think, you know what? If that happens, it's a short trip, and you're welcome to come to a game in Kitchener anytime during the OHL final.
Yeah, I've been there. The fans there, they're great. I have to say, you put 6,000 or 7,000 fans in that building, it's twice as loud as Brantford. The team gets going, they get on a comeback, the fans get going. It's just a great atmosphere. I was there for the first game of the season. We were up 3-0 going into the third period. We didn't field a team that all the regulars were out at camps and whatnot, and same with Kitchener. But as soon as Kitchener started that comeback in the third period, and then they won it in overtime, that crowd was just unbelievable. You couldn't hear yourself thinking there.
Well, it should be great for the rest of the playoffs
great.
too. Yeah, Mike, it's great to hear from you today. Thank you very much for the kind words, and good luck to your Bulldogs.
Okay, and you too, and hopefully we'll see you in the final.
I would love that. Look forward to it. Thanks, Mike.
Have a good day.
You too. Take good care. I love it. Hey, we're all junior hockey fans. That's what matters at the end of the day. Brantford is up 1-0 in their series with Barrie. They play Game 2 tonight as we get Game 1 of the Western Conference Final going versus the Windsor Spitfires here in Kitchener. And right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey, 570 News Radio. Pre-game coverage gets underway at 6:30. Ain't no one giving you 30 minutes of pre-game coverage in this league except us. It's what we do here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. Ernie is next on Free Phones Friday. Hello, Ernie.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, hey, you want to say hi?
Hello, Mike.
Zayner, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
Hey, Zayner, you're a Kitchener Rangers fan, aren't you?
Yep.
You know, Zane, you know what I think you should do?
What?
I think you should try to get your dad to take you to the game tonight.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Ernie, you going to take Zaner to the game tonight?
I think if he says go Rangers really loud, me and Zaner are going to go to the game tonight. What do you
Zaner,
think, Zane?
let's hear it. Okay, wait, I missed that. Do it again. Oh, my gosh. I can hear the yelling, but the phone is, I don't know if the phone's too far away, but that sounded pretty good, Ernie.
Well, we are on speakerphone, and Mikey, thanks for that.
Hey, buddy. So, wait, was that loud enough? Is Zaner going to the game tonight?
Zane, what do you think? Can you do it one more time?
Oh, yeah. Zaner's going to the... Listen, you muckety mucks better come up and say hi at the booth.
So we'll see what we can do. And the other thing is, it's a PD day. You got to listen to that for the rest of the day to go to the game. Right, Mike?
That's perfect. Always listen to your father. Obey thy father and mother. I read that in some commandments somewhere.
My mother's not home.
It's a boys' weekend.
2 feet and a heartbeat, right, Zane? All right. Thanks, Mikey.
All right, Ernie. Good to hear from you. Look, couple of muckety mucks headed to the game tonight. You can be a muckety muck. Just behave yourself when you're there, okay? Rangers, Spitfires, Ernie, Zane, you, me, and if you can't be there, we got you covered right here, starting with your Harris Law pregame show at 6:30. Free Phones Friday continues right after this update from the 570 News Center on the Mike Farwell Show. 570 News Radio. Right there is Morris Day and The Time, a song called Jungle Love. On this All Request Friday, celebrating the songs of Prince. What? Well, Prince wrote it, you see, and I'm pretty sure it showed up on the soundtrack to Purple Rain. Morris Day and The Time with Jungle Love on your All Request Friday here on the show. That one requested by Andrea, Farwell's Force member number 273. Andrea, thank you for being a Farwell's Force member in good standing. Thank you for the request. I got to say, just as a quick aside, I'm getting right back to the phones because they're busy. Free Phones Friday is always busy. I love it. But I am pleasantly surprised at the pleasantness of the weather outside my studio window today. I was under the impression we were going to see a lot of rain. I got up on the ladder yesterday, took down the Christmas lights. Don't make fun of me. My beloved made fun of me online for the world to see. She said it's the first time her Christmas lights have ever been down before June. I don't think that's true, love. I don't think that's true, but my memory's not what it used to be. But I got those Christmas lights down yesterday on a beautiful day, trying to take advantage of the nice weather before it got wet today, but it's not wet yet. Looks really nice. How nice have these past couple of days been, though? Oh, my gosh. Anyway, every time I take down the ding-dang lights, I ask myself the same question. I mean, they've been up since November, so that's 5 months they're hanging from my eaves. I could leave them for another 6, and I'm ready for next November. Like, what am I doing here? I question my life choices all the time. They are much easier to take down, though, than they are to put up in November. And the weather yesterday was so nice. All right, back to the phones. Free Phones Friday to our buddy Preston Paul, another Farwell's Force member, number 45. Afternoon, buddy.
Good afternoon, Grand Poobah. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good. It's a little windy and chilly out here. It's only like 10 degrees, maybe.
Yeah, it's not like yesterday or the day before, eh?
Oh, yesterday and the day before was so beautiful. Had the first backyard fire last night, sitting out here. It was just perfect out, I'll tell you, Mike.
I love it, buddy. I love it for you. I love it for... We need this stuff. We need it.
Yeah. And if you're not $1 million question, I didn't guess it. But any of my sheets put away, I just wrinkle them right up and just throw them in the drawer. I don't even try and get them together, you know?
Yeah, what's the point, eh? Wait, you got better things to do with your time than fold fitted sheets.
That's right. I wouldn't make any money off of that, that's for sure. But anyways, you have yourself a great night, and go Rangers, go.
I love to hear it, buddy. Thank you, Paul. Go Rangers, go. We're saying this on April the 24th. You realize that, right? April the 24th. As head coach Jussi Ahokas told us earlier today on the Coaches Show, it's the best time of year to be playing hockey. The weather's nice. The sun is shining. There's nothing better than this, except maybe winning the Wayne Gretzky Trophy. I mean, that's what we're starting the series for tonight. Go Rangers, go. If you didn't understand the reference to our not $1 million question, it's something we do to have some fun at the beginning of the show on Fridays. I ask you a goofy question. We see if you can come up with the answer. We stumped you today, but the question was, the average person takes 6 tries before successfully doing this. What is that thing? It takes us 6 tries before successfully doing folding a fitted sheet. I call shenanigans on that. Nobody folds a fitted sheet. You do with the fitted sheet what Paul says you do with the fitted sheet. You just crumple it up and throw it away. Fitted sheets. Who came up with fitted sheets anyway? Goofiness. Kyle, another Farwell's Force member. Number 6, not 5.5, because 5.5 is higher and better than 6. But Kyle is here, number 6. Hi.
Hi. Maybe when I get older, I could shrink down a little bit because, as they say, you get older, you kind of get a little bit shorter. So,
what are you trying to say? You calling me short?
Well, I'm short too.
Okay.
Don't worry. It doesn't run in my family. Hey, is there something about a game tonight? Is there a game tonight?
Oh, there's a game tonight, baby.
There's a game. Mike, let's go Rangers! Let's go Rangers! Wow! Come on, baby! Game night tonight! I can't wait to go! Let's go Rangers! Wow! Thanks, Mike!
Thank you, Kyle. See, I could only give the best I could here in the studio with my contributions to Kyle's yelling. I got to save something for game time, which is, of course, tonight. Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30 right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. Dylan is with us on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon, Dylan.
Hey, good afternoon, Mike. I don't know much about the roles and responsibilities of these regional counselors. I'm just curious if you have a rough idea, like, how much work goes into that chair position, like hours per week?
It's a great question. And when Councillor Colleen James, who brought forward the motion to get the 89% increase, called in yesterday, she talked about meetings that start at 7:30 in the morning as one thing. The overall number of hours, I couldn't say with any certainty. However, the committees don't run as long as the full council meetings. I can promise you that. And I know also from being on volunteer boards, chair or otherwise, yes, there's responsibility being a chair, but the staff behind the scenes does all of the heavy lifting. You have to review things and make sure your meeting is in order, but I don't know the exact number of hours, though.
Could we say, like, would 7.5 hours a week be fair?
I think that would be very fair. Yep. You trying to do some mental gymnastics here?
Yeah, if we're $13,000 is their total package. If you've got 7.5 hours a week times 50 weeks, because they're going to take a couple weeks off, right?
For sure.
So what are we at? We're at 375 hours a year. So we got $13,000 divided by 375. You're under $35 an hour. Do you know that minimum wage today is it's like 17 or 18 bucks? Now, here's a regional counselor, making decisions that's going to affect us today and into the future. I don't think $35 an hour is a crazy amount of money. I would think that all of these people are smart enough to know that when you hear 89%, everyone's going to flip out. It seems to me like maybe they were woefully underpaid for a long, long time. Because, like I said, $35 an hour, someone that's making decisions that's going to affect my community for years to come, doesn't sound outrageous.
Okay, so let me ask you. Let me put it to you this way: that's just for being the chair of the committee.
Correct.
Okay, so on top of your counselor salary, now you're about $63,000 annually.
Right. But
Okay.
I was just looking at the $13,000 that they get paid
to be a chair.
To be a chair,
Yeah.
and that they're spending 7.5 hours a week on average being a chair. it's not a crazy amount of money.
Okay. So to your point on minimum wage, 18-ish bucks an hour. So it's about double if you are a chair of a committee. And I get it. Some people are committee chairs. Some people are minimum wage workers, right?
Right.
But in today's, do you think that minimum wage worker who puts in more than 7.5 hours a week, do you think that minimum wage worker is working hard?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
But that's the way it works. When you're young and you start, you work hard for less. You'll find that, like a CEO, while he makes the most money, does the least amount of work. He's paid for very few, very important decisions.
He's paid for results. Absolutely. So then I would also then come back to your analysis and ask you about the results you've received from regional council in the past year. How's that water system working out for you, Dylan? How are those tax increases working out for you?
I'm just okay. That's why I asked you how much they work. I don't know much about regional council, what they do, and I was just kind of doing the math on the the per hour rate. Like 89%, when you hear that, it smacks you in the face. I wanted to figure out what that works out on a per hour basis. There's a lot of people, I work in the trades, $35 an hour isn't worth getting out of bed for.
I don't disagree. So some people are regional counselors, some people are working in the trades, some people are working for minimum wage. I just think that today...
And let's take your analogy backwards. Prior to this 89% raise, they were making less than minimum wage.
But again, you're looking at it, though, this is just to be the chair of a committee, Dylan. You still have your full salary before that. So I think we're doing kind of apples and grapefruits here.
Well, again, that's why I started the whole conversation with how many hours per week does this chair position involve?
And so I could also then say, if you don't think being a chair is financially lucrative enough, don't be a chair.
Yeah, then the person, like, again, not a huge political person, but I know the name Karen Redmond. She's been around since I was a kid. I've heard nothing but great things about her. So using that thinking of don't be a chairperson, then we're going to get bums.
Well, no, but now you're talking about something completely different because the regional chair, the chair of the region, makes about $180,000 a year. I'm talking about the chair of a committee that gets us, well, now it's they were getting $7,400 extra to be the chair of the committee. If you don't like that, don't be the chair of the committee.
Right. And so if the good people in those positions now don't want to do it, then we got to find someone to do it for $7,400 a year.
But they're already doing it for $7,400 a year.
Right. And obviously they must be woefully underpaid if they're willing to take the public backlash over this 89% raise. All I'm getting at is I don't think $35 an hour is outrageous. I think the people are hearing the 89% bouncing between their ears, and that's all they can think of. $35 an hour ain't a ton of money.
But it is to a lot of people, Dylan. A lot of people.
Sure. I get that.
Okay.
But to a lot of other people, $35 an hour is peanuts. So it's all perspective.
So for whom are you governing? All the people or just the wealthy people?
All the people.
All the people.
But that's people that are making $80 an hour and people that are making 18.
Right. Okay.
And we shouldn't strive to be at the bottom. We shouldn't strive for our political leaders to be scraping by.
Are they, though? Are they scraping by? Because they're sure as hell lining up to get elected.
So they got $13 grand for chair position on top of a $50,000 wage for being what is their total package?
Yes, if you're a chair now, your total package comes out to about $63K, not counting benefits. And it's
$63K is garbage.
Well, sure. What do you think? Do you know that the median income in this community is 44?
Right, which is way too low in my opinion.
Agreed. So you're getting what are you getting? You're getting 50% more than that just off the hop. This is why I think you have to understand, Dylan, why people might get a little vexed about this.
Right. But I don't like the argument. People shouldn't be striving to have everyone brought down to a low level because some people are there.
Agreed completely. So what I want to know is that
quality people, you need quality pay.
Do we not have quality people today?
We do.
Okay, and they ran, but they ran for the salary they're getting. So they're either quality or they're not.
Does this raise kick in now or next term?
Next term.
So they're fighting for the next people.
They're fighting for themselves. I'm not going to buy that ever, because we know that in local politics, it's the same crew election after election.
Well, then everyone who doesn't like the 89% can vote for someone else.
I know, but we know that won't happen. So, and that's fine. But anyway, I want, Dylan, I'm with you. I don't want to race to the bottom, but I want to see that rising tide bringing up the rest of the boats. And when people on median in this community are pulling down about 44, and you got tons of people working for minimum wage and 6.7% more people unemployed, it's just not the right time. It's not the right time.
Yeah, I don't know. I just it bothers me when there's, people in the world with millions and billions of dollars, yet we all spend our energy fighting amongst ourselves for the scraps that are left over. Call me a communist, whatever, but I would never. We should be having these arguments with the people that are making them, the millions and the billions, and let everyone earn. Like, no one should be living on $44,000. I have no idea how that's even possible.
I hear you, brother. And
I couldn't do it.
The only thing I will call you is a devil's advocate, and I appreciate you being that today, because it's a great conversation.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Dylan. I know that was done with intent, and it's perfect. That is absolutely the sides of the coin that we're talking about here. And the reason that we get as fired up as we do over these quote-unquote scraps is because these are the scraps that we can see. I don't know any of the millionaires and billionaires that are currently sitting on local councils. So for us, this is the real stuff. This is the in our backyard stuff. Great conversation. And Dylan makes a number of very good points. I hope he runs for council. I really do. This is the Mike Farwell Show. Free Phones Friday continues on 570 News Radio.
Shaka Khan, let me rock it, Shaka Khan. Let me rock it, that's all I wanna do. Shaka Khan, let me rock it, Shaka Khan. Let me really got a feel for you. Shaka Khan, what you tell me what you wanna do? Do you feel for me the way I feel for you? Shaka Khan, let me tell you what I wanna do. I wanna love you, wanna hug you, wanna squeeze you too. And let me take it in my arms, let me feel you with my charm, Shaka. Cause you know that I'm the one to keep you warm, Shaka. I'm making more than just a physical dream. I wanna rock you, Shaka, baby, cause you make me wanna scream. Let me rock it, rock it.
It is an all-request Friday, Prince edition, as we celebrate the songs of Prince. This is I Feel For You by Chaka Khan. Maria wanted to hear it because it's written by Prince. Well done by you, Maria. Farwell's Force member number 332. Thanks for the request. It's been a great day of requests on the show. And I'm just thinking back on Dylan's call. Excellent conversation. Glad somebody played the other side of it, because I always get to share my side as passionately as I want to on the show. I will take this opportunity to issue again my appeal to the councillors that voted in favor of the 89% increase for committee chairs. Councillors Redmond, James, Rodriguez, Craig, Liggett, Shantz, Gowing, McCabe, Wolf, Hunink, and Nowak. It's never too late to change your mind. Just bring a new motion forward next week. Take that 89% off the table. Consultant recommended 3%. Doug, you're on Free Phones Friday. Good afternoon.
Hello, Mike. So it's number 212 coming at you from the other end of the show today.
Attaboy.
Yeah, I gotta say, the caller you just had on definitely raised some really, really good points. It's kind of hard to take that 89% out of the job out of context. But if they're already making $67,000, it really does. It doesn't have the same the same disadvantage or advantage for the person involved. I'm not quite sure the logic when you're talking dollars and cents in two different jobs. It's crazy, but anyway, I wanted to get in here because
I'm running real short on time here, Doug.
Okay, well, the basketball game is at Monday night. It's Monday night, right?
The Titans, yeah, up in Sudbury. And there's a watch party at the Edelweiss.
That's it. Okay. Well, that's what I got to make sure I see. And I know I'm always saying go Rangers, but I want to see the Titans pull it off. They've worked very hard, and Mr. Scully in particular has been so devoted to this city and to this sport and bring us the best basketball. I hope they can tie it off. So.
All right, Doug. Thank you for that. Game 4, Titans Sudbury 5 Monday night basketball Super League title on the line. I'm going to try to squeeze in Dan. I got like 40 seconds for you, Dan.
All right, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. I just wanted to say one thing about that increase. You can say testicles on the air, right?
You just did.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
That's okay.
Yeah, the testicles on these guys, like arrogant or what, Mike? People scratch and claw to get 4%. Have a great day, buddy. Thank you.
All right, Dan. And this is the every person's view of it. Dylan presented a very strong case for the other side. Some of us are regional counselors. Others of us are just radio talk show hosts. It's as simple as that. We're also part-time radio sports broadcasters, and I will be at the Memorial Auditorium tonight with Josh Piercy for Kitchener Rangers, Windsor Spitfires, Game 1 of the Western Conference Championship. Pre-game coverage gets underway at 6:30 right here on your home of Kitchener Rangers hockey. Got to run. See you at the rink tonight. I'll be with you here if you can't be at the rink tonight. And we'll come back and have more of these conversations next Tuesday morning. Monday is a travel day for us. My name is Mike Farwell. You are a force for good. Bye for now.